Chapter 817. Haha. Seriously, Suyan's girlfriend is still here. How could he agree? That might not be the case. It's just a game. Shuelua is so generous. I'm sure she won't mind. Shuelua? Under the urging of the crowd, Ning Shua looked at Ning Shi in the corner and then at Su Yin, who looked troubled. She said calmly, "It's just a game. Of course I don't mind. Su Yin, make your own decision." Oh. I knew it. Su Yin, you're so lucky. You have such a considerate girlfriend. Su Yin looked at Ning Shi in the corner. After a while, he showed an embarrassed expression. Sorry. Ning Shi shrugged slightly and drank all 3 glasses of wine on the table neatly. Lu Jingli didn't even have time to stop her. Damn, I'm screwed suddenly. There was a hubbub and sigh. Damn, another show of affection. I knew Su Yin wouldn't agree. He's already full of women. Other women are nothing. There were also some little actors who were jealous of Ning Shi who were whispering gloatingly, "Isn't she just a little beautiful? Does she really think that all men have to kneel down under her pomegranate skirt? Now she's rejected. It's so funny. Ning Shi's just a vase. Only those wretched men who only look at her beauty will like her, right? How can a rich man like Su Yin like her? Even if Ning Shuelua is not here, I don't think he will agree. It's degrading to have a relationship with a small star who relies on her beauty." Ning Shuelua looked at Su Yin and was touched. She said softly, "I thought you, Brother Yin, you don't have to do this. I know it's just a game. I won't mind." Su Yin glanced at Ning Shi, who was holding her forehead in the corner. Although he looked a little guilty, he still said firmly, "I've always regarded Ning Shi as my younger sister and wanted to take care of her, but I definitely wouldn't do such a thing. Even if you understand, I don't want you to misunderstand." Brother Yin. Next, Ning Shuelua was also picked. Ning Shuelua chose Dare and was asked to kiss any man on the field. Needless to say, Ning Shuelua chose Su Yin. As a result, the handsome man and beautiful woman who were kissing passionately were teased by the crowd. Originally, Ning Shi was only asked to play the game. Now, it seemed like she wanted to suck up to Su Yin, but ended up being slapped in the face. The atmosphere was a little strange. Unfortunately, at this time, Ning Shi miserably drew imp again. The one who drew the big ghost was a drunk little supporting actress. She mumbled, "Ning Shi, truth or dare?" After drinking 3 glasses of wine, Ning Shi drank too fast and too hastily. She was about to tell the truth, but when the words truth were on the tip of her tongue, she actually said dare. He wanted to correct himself, but it was too late. The supporting actress giggled and said, I drank too much. I really can't think of anything else for you to do. Why don't we do the same as before? However, in order to avoid awkwardness, I won't choose the people in our room. Later, when the first person comes in, you could just ask him for a kiss. Chapter 818. Oh, by the way, not the same gender. It has to be the opposite gender. The supporting actress added. Hearing this, everyone became even more excited. What if it's an ugly and wretched man? Ha, I won't be that unlucky, right? Ning, she didn't know how to comment. It would be awkward to choose the person in the room, but wouldn't it be awkward to choose the stranger who would come in later? However, there was no other way. This was the rule of the game, so they could only continue. At this moment, although the people in the private room were still playing, everyone's mind was clearly focused on who would come in later. The hotel was the most lively at this time. Every room had people who found the wrong place, or drunkards who entered the room by mistake. Just now, several of them had already entered. However, for some reason, no one came in this time, not even the waiters. If no one comes in after 10 minutes, this round is over, right? Finally, someone suggested. How can that be? If no one comes in after 10 minutes, then choose one of our rooms. Hey, that's a good idea. The supporting actress who had drawn the big ghost just now nodded in agreement. Of course, if you want to choose from the room, you have to choose the opposite gender. Seeing that the 10 minutes were about to pass, it seemed that it was time to choose a person in the room. Ning Shi's eyes began to wander around the room. It would be easy if she could choose anyone, but the requirement was that it had to be the opposite gender. Letting her choose herself was better than waiting for the first person to come in later. After all, if she chose herself, it would be to director-producer. These people with sensitive identities were definitely out of the question. Lu Jingli, Jiang Mai. Definitely not. Su Yin, needless to say. As for the other male leads, male actors and crew members Ning, she looked around one by one. But in the end, she couldn't choose a single person. My head hurts. Sensing Ning, she's gaze in the room. Most of the men in the room began to get restless. Ha. I wonder who will have the honor of being chosen by Beauty Ning tonight. I bet on Jiao Mai. I've long felt that there's something wrong with these two. Why not Lu Jingli? This is a good chance to please the boss. Could it be Su Yin? Su Yin rejected the beauty's face just now. Maybe she won't be satisfied and will ask again. There's still our male lead, Zhao Xizhou. There were more and more whispers in the private room. Almost everyone had been guessed. Ningxi's brain was about to explode. The supporting actress took a look at her mobile phone. Ningxi, 10 minutes are almost up, but no one is coming. How about you choose one of the private rooms? In the corner, Jiang Mai curled his lips and muttered in a low voice, or I'll just suffer for a while. In fact, he just said it casually. He knew that Ningxi didn't want to have a scandal with him, so she wouldn't choose him. However, if she chose someone else, she would be taken advantage of. You might as well choose him. Lu Jingli glared at Jiang Mai and looked at the time on his watch. What's the hurry? There's still 1 minute left. At this moment, Lu Jingli looked calm, but his heart was actually on the verge of breaking down. Fuck, it's over, it's over. God bless. If he let little Cece kiss someone else, he would definitely die here today. Die without a burial. Chapter 819. Isn't it time yet? I have a timer. The supporting actress looked at her phone. Oh, it's almost time. 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8 seconds. Ningxi hugged her aching head. I admit defeat. Damn it. She should just admit defeat and drink. However, before Ning, she could say the word admit defeat, the heavy metal door of the private room was suddenly pushed open from the outside. In an instant, everyone's eyes fell on the golden door, their eyes filled with the light of gossip. Damn it. Someone finally came in. A guest who went the wrong way, or a drunkard, a waiter, or some other crew member who came late. First, they saw a slender finger pushing the door open. Their eyes followed the finger up to the low-key but luxurious obsidian cufflinks and a gray tie with dark patterns. Finally, they saw the man's face clearly. His facial features were as sharp as a knife, his eyebrows were like distant mountains, his nose was straight, his lips were tight, and his face was sculpted by God's extreme favor. The private room swayed. In the dim light and dirty air, the man was like a gust of wind that came from a land of ice and snow. His gaze was cold and clear, and his temperament was cold. He stood there quietly, and his gaze moved slightly, sweeping across everyone. It was just a meaningless gaze, but it could make people uncontrollably feel a sense of reverence that they did not dare to look straight at. That was the kind of pressure that only people in high positions could have. Looking at the man who came in, Ningxi blinked her eyes, thinking that she was hallucinating boss. In an instant, everyone in the private room was stunned. Who was this man? Guo Qixing and Wang Taihan knew each other, but because they didn't expect him to come, they were too surprised. Brother, Lu Jingli, who was silently praying, almost cried with joy when he saw the man at the door. Damn it, he came at the right time. Thank goodness, I'm still alive. Jiang Mai was stunned, and a trace of sadness flashed across his eyes. However, his face relaxed a little. In this way, Ningxi wouldn't be put in a difficult position. Those who were immersed in the man's imposing manner and didn't know the truth suddenly woke up when they heard Lu Jingli call him brother. What? Brother? What did Lu Jingli just call that man? This person was Lu Jingli's older brother? Wasn't that Lu Group's president, Lu Tingxiao? The director seemed to want to invite him over tonight, but they didn't manage to invite him. Brother, you're here. Come in. Lu Jingli hurriedly strode over and welcomed him in. The director and producer also came to their senses and hurriedly went up to him in fear and trepidation. Mr. Lu, you're so busy. I didn't expect you to come tonight. What an honor. Come in, come in. Holy shit. It really was Lu Tingxiao, but it was no wonder. Apart from Lu Tingxiao, Who else could have such an aura? The first person to enter was actually Lu Tingxiao. For a time, everyone looked at each other in dismay, and their expressions were somewhat strange. This Ning, she was too unlucky. The first was Su Yan, and the second was even worse. It was Lu Tingxiao. There was no need to ask to know the result. He would definitely be rejected on the spot. Perhaps he might even think that he was trying to get close to her and cause her to feel bad for him. Chapter 820. One had to know that Lu Tingxiao had never been close to women. What he hated the most were those women who came up to him and tried to please him. He wouldn't give them any face, no matter whether they were beautiful or not. But this was such a good opportunity to get close to Lu Tingxiao. Even if she knew she would be rejected, she wouldn't give it up. Ning Xiaoluo's eyes had a gleam, and she couldn't help looking forward to it. Ning, she was going to be humiliated tonight. Ning Shi, hurry up. Someone in the corner reminded her in a low voice. Then, Ning Shi was pushed to Lu Tingxiao by several actresses. Hearing this, and noticing that everyone looked strange, Lu Tingxiao glanced at Ning Shi, asking, "What's wrong?" Ning Shi was obviously drunk. Her cheeks were flushed, and her eyes looked a little drowsy. Lu Tingxiao frowned imperceptibly. Director Guo Qixing coughed lightly. It's nothing. We were just playing a game," Lu Tingxiao asked. "Game?" Lu Jingli touched his nose, pointed at Ning Shi, and explained, "We're playing truth or dare. This girl has been chosen and wants to kiss the first man who comes in. If she fails, she will be punished. Brother, you're the first one to come in." Lu Tingxiao's expression instantly changed. No wonder Lu Jingli was so anxious to get him here in 10 minutes. What if he couldn't make it? Then Ning Shi, sensing his brother's coldness, Lu Jingli shrunk his neck in fright. Ning Shi raised her head and stared blankly at the handsome face of the great demon king. Hey, I really want to hug and kiss him." No. Ning Shi controlled the impulse to jump on him with her last bit of rationality. She remembered the rules of the game and that they were strangers. The outside world didn't know their relationship. According to the plot, she should be rejected. So Ning Shi coughed lightly, pretended to be an actress that Lu Tingxiao didn't know, gave him a hint, and then walked over in fear and trepidation. She greeted Lu Tingxiao respectfully and then said in a trembling voice, "Well, Mr. Lu, it's just a game. Don't mind me. I'll just drink." Ning Xiaoluo frowned and snorted. She was a little disappointed. She was smart. She knew that she would be rejected, so she backed down. However, even so, she could only barely save some face. Lu Tingxiao still rejected her in the end, didn't he? Hearing Ning Shi's words, Su Yan unconsciously clenched his fists and slowly relaxed. With that, Ning Shi bent over and picked up a glass of wine from the tea table. Just as he was about to pour it in, he suddenly lost control of his hand. Lu Tingxiao didn't know when he had grabbed her hand, took the glass of wine from her hand, and placed it back on the coffee table. Following that, his large palm covered her waist, and under her somewhat confused gaze, he suddenly leaned over and kissed her lips. In an instant, the entire room was filled with the sound of people sucking in cold air. Someone's wine glass fell to the ground, making an ear-piercing sound. Even Ning, she was dumbfounded. Damn it, what did the devil do? Didn't she hint at him? Didn't he understand? Chapter 821. At this moment, everyone in the room finally came back to their senses. Damn it, what just happened? Lu Tingxiao kissed Ning Shi. Ning Shi actually succeeded in kissing him? No, Ning Shi didn't even open her mouth. She probably knew it was impossible, so she admitted defeat. But Lu Tingxiao still kissed her. The moment Ning Xiaoluo saw this scene, she almost crushed the wine glass in her hand. At that moment, she heard a crisp sound. It was the wine glass in Su Yan's hand that accidentally fell to the ground. Sorry, I need to go to the bathroom. Su Yan hurriedly got up and walked out of the room. Noticing Su Yan's reaction, Ning Xiaoluo's face darkened. Su Yan, what did he mean? Why was he so excited to see another man kissing Ning Shi? She thought she had Su Yan firmly in her palm. She thought Su Yan only felt guilty towards Ning Shi. But at this moment, she suddenly felt a sense of crisis at this moment. What worried her the most was Lu Tingxiao. Lu Tingxiao actually kissed Ningxi. How is that possible? Ignoring everyone's shocked expression, Lu Tingxiao sat down on the sofa with a blank expression after the kiss, as if he had done nothing. Seeing Ningxi still staring at him with a frightened expression, Lu Tingxiao looked up coldly. Anything else? Ningxi covered her mouth and shook her head like a rattledrum. Then she stood at attention, turned around, and sat down on the sofa obediently. Jiang Mai's hands clenched into fists, and he lowered his eyes to avoid eye contact. The seriously injured Lu Jingli covered his chest and squeezed to Lu Tingxiao's side. "Brother, move over there." Originally, there was still some distance between Lu Tingxiao and Ningxi. After Lu Jingli squeezed over, Lu Tingxiao naturally moved to the side and sat next to Ningxi. Mr. Lu really has tender feelings for the fairer sex. Beauty Ning finally succeeded this time. Everyone said one after another to liven up the atmosphere. At the same time, some people secretly whispered to each other, "What is Lu Tingxiao trying to do? What else can he mean? He has tender feelings for the fairer sex once in a while. He's a man. Isn't that normal?" Of course it's normal for other men, but it's shocking that it happened to Lu Tingxiao. What's wrong with Lu Tingxiao? Lu Tingxiao was also a man. How many men could control a beauty like Ningxi? Take a guess. If Ningxi wasn't there, would Su Yin have given up such a good opportunity to kiss her? TSK this. Indeed, it's hard to say. In the private room, everyone had their own thoughts, but Ningxi sat there obediently from beginning to end. She was pretending to be a bunny when she suddenly felt a warm palm on her thigh. Ningxi's back stiffened. She immediately turned to glare at Lu Tingxiao and reached out to hold his hand. "What are you doing?" Lu Tingxiao supported his forehead with one hand, looking like an immortal banished from the 9 heavens. He sat there with a noble and elegant demeanor, but in private, he held her little hand and squeezed it in his palm, gently or heavily, without letting go. Ningxi tried a few times, but failed. She could only let him squeeze her hand, covering it carefully with her skirt. Because of her guilty conscience, her little heart was beating fast. Damn it, now I really feel like I'm having an affair. Chapter 822. After Lu Tingxiao came in, the originally lively atmosphere in the private room was immediately restrained. It was so quiet that it didn't look like a party, but more like a company meeting. However, Lu Tingxiao, the instigator of all this, did not seem to be aware that he was the cause of all this. He sat there calmly, holding his wife's little hand in private, admiring her little face of being angry, but not daring to say anything, leisurely and contented. Cough. That. Don't stop, continue. After the crisis was resolved, Lu Jingli immediately revived on the spot and began to get excited again. Anyway, with her brother around, Xianxia would definitely not be at a disadvantage. She could have fun as much as she wanted after being coaxed by Lu Jingli. Everyone immediately relaxed a lot. As they were playing, Su Yin came back. After sitting down beside Ning Shui, he couldn't help but look at Ning Shi from the corner of his eyes. The girl seemed to be a little afraid of Lu Tingxiao. She lowered her head and sat there quietly. She was even a little reserved. Her cheeks were red because of the wine. It seemed that she was shy because of the kiss just now. At this moment, Ningxi's expression was like a sharp arrow that shot into Su Yan's heart. Since Ningxi returned to China, she seemed to have changed into a different person. He couldn't remember how long it had been since he last saw her so obedient and timid. Back then, Ningxi was still a little girl. Whenever she saw him, she would blush. She didn't even dare to look into his eyes when she spoke. But now, 5 years later, he finally saw the Ning she was familiar with. Not because of him, but because of another man. Could it be that she had feelings for Lu Tingxiao? Senior Jiang, you've fallen into my hands again. Truth or dare? Jiang Mai was in a bad mood, so he said casually, "Dare." Senior Jiang, I like your personality. Then listen carefully. Please take off your shirt and do 10 sets of push-ups facing the A of the club. Oh. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone was so excited that they almost tore the roof off. Push-ups. Everyone revealed a meaningful expression. Ayo, 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 Club A. Who's the A of clubs? He's too lucky with women. Could it be a man? Ha ha ha. In the corner, Ningxi's face darkened. Damn it. She had drawn an A of clubs. What to do? Ningxi glanced at the great demon king subconsciously. Noticing the girl's gaze, Lu Tingxiao lowered his eyes and saw the ace of clubs in Ningxi's hand. Where was Plum Blossom A? Come out. Everyone was already urging her. Ningxi was about to raise her hand when her hand suddenly became empty. The next second, the card in her hand had changed from an ace of clubs to an 8 of diamonds. No wonder Plum Blossom, it didn't say anything. It's you, second young master. Lu Jingli looked bitterly at his brother, who had swapped his cards. Fuck. How could he screw over his own brother like that? Forget it, forget it. Who asked him to play truth or dare on purpose? Lu Jingli shrugged his shoulders at Jiangmai and said, Bring it on. Everyone roared with laughter. Jiangmai was sitting next to Lu Jingli. He had already seen Lu Jingli's card. It wasn't an ace of clubs at all, but now it had become an ace of clubs. He didn't need a guess to know who the real ace of clubs was. In the end, Jiangmai admitted defeat. He picked up the wine on the table and drank 3 glasses. Seeing this, everyone was disappointed. Alas, 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 there was no good show to watch. Chapter 823. In the middle of the game, Ningxi was picked once again. Truth or dare? Ningxi hesitated for a moment. Truth. That person seemed to be waiting for Ningxi to tell the truth. He stole a glance at Lu Tingxiao and asked excitedly, how did you feel when Mr. Lu kissed you just now? Ningxi was speechless. Damn it. Truth was indeed more dangerous than dare. As soon as this question came out, the eyes of all the girls in the room lit up like 500-watt light bulbs. They were obviously very interested in this question. When Lu Tingxiao kissed Ningxi just now, they were already going crazy with jealousy. Especially the little supporting actress who proposed to let Ningxi kiss the first man who entered the box. She regretted it so much that her intestines turned green. She had created such a good opportunity for another woman. For a moment, everyone's eyes fell on Ningxi. Lu Tingxiao held a glass of red wine in his hand. Although he didn't deliberately look at anyone, it was obvious that his attention was on her. After hesitating for a long time, Ningxi bit the bullet and answered, To be honest, it was too sudden just now. I didn't have time to feel it. What? It must be the truth. Yeah, you really didn't feel it? It's not that I didn't feel it. I mean, I didn't have time to feel it. I really mean it. Ningxi explained helplessly. Everyone had no choice but to let her go this time. She finally dodged a bullet. She felt an itch in her palm. Lu Tingxiao's fingertips seemed to be rubbing against her palm. Ningxi glared at him. What was he doing now? Lu Tingxiao didn't say anything. He just looked at her with an unusually deep gaze. Next, Ningxi was picked. Xiaoluo, truth or dare? Changli asked. Dare, Ningxi said with relief. Because Changli was the one who got the big ghost, she definitely wouldn't let her do anything overboard. Then, Changli said, My request is to sing a song with the King of Spades. This dare wasn't exciting at all, and no one paid much attention to it. But the King of Spades turned out to be Lu Tingxiao. Lu Jingli was prepared to let his brother do the same thing, but Changli noticed it first. The King of Spades is Mr. Lu. When the crowd saw this, they all looked at him enviously. I really want to hear Mr. Lu sing. It was just singing a song together, and it was a game. This couldn't be more normal. Suyin definitely wouldn't have any problems. This was undoubtedly a good opportunity to build a relationship with Lu Tingxiao. Ningxi smiled and stood up gracefully. She looked at Lu Tingxiao and said, Mr. Lu, why don't you order some? Ningxi was glad that her singing was not bad. Everyone thought that Lu Tingxiao would definitely agree. After all, he had agreed to Ningxi's kiss. There was no reason for him to refuse a song. Changli had already eagerly handed the microphone over to him. In the end, Lu Tingxiao didn't even raise his hand as he spat out 2 words from his thin lips. No. For a moment, Chang Li's flattering smile froze on her face. Ning Xiao, who was about to sing, also stood awkwardly in the middle of the room. How could he not know how to sing? He probably didn't want to sing with a female star like Ning Xiao. For a moment, almost everyone was thinking the same thing. Chapter 824. Ning Xiao had never expected that Lu Tingxiao, who had never been close to women, would kiss Ning Shi, a lowly, third-rate female star who relied on her looks to climb up the social ladder, and yet refused to sing a song with her. Changli had thought that she had done a good job and was feeling proud of herself. But when she heard Lu Tingxiao's name, she didn't even dare to breathe loudly. She took the microphone and retreated awkwardly. I see. Then, I'll drink 3 glasses as punishment. Ning Xiao had no choice but to pick up her glass. Originally, there was still a glimmer of hope that Lu Tingxiao would not have the heart to change his mind. However, Lu Tingxiao just sat there quietly without any change in his expression. Xiao can't drink. Let me help her. Su Yin stood up, took the glass from Ning Xiao's hand, and helped her drink the 3 glasses. The atmosphere eased a little, and Ning Xiao wasn't as embarrassed as before. After all, Lu Tingxiao was a man of high status, and it was normal for him to refuse. Lu Tingxiao glanced at Su Yin, who had helped Ning Xiao out of trouble, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Lu Jingli knew Lu Tingxiao the best, and he knew what he wanted to do with just one look. He rolled his eyes and immediately came up with an idea. His brother was obviously jealous of his rival in love, and he couldn't stand Su Yin, so he wanted to stand up for Ning Shi. After a few rounds, Lu Jingli drew Big Ghost. He looked at his brother, who had drawn Little Wang, and said wickedly, "Brother, truth or dare?" Lu Tingxiao glanced at Lu Jingli. Dare. Lu Jingli's eyes lit up when he heard that. Wow, how cooperative. Did he know that he was going to help? The others looked at the 2 brothers with interest. Lu Jingli loved to play around, and no one knew what he was going to do to his brother. But would he dare to mess with Lu Tingxiao? Ning Shi also curiously held her chin and looked at Lu Jingli. Looking at Lu Jingli's expression, she knew he was going to cause trouble. Lu Jingli coughed lightly, then chuckled and said to Lu Tingxiao, "Bro, my request is very simple. I want you to sing a song with someone else. Among the people sitting here, you can choose anyone to sing with you." When everyone heard this, they couldn't help but laugh. Lu Tingxiao had already said that he didn't know how to sing and didn't want to sing with others. But now, Lu Jingli wanted him to find someone to sing with. Wasn't he trying to make him lose? However, this was not the end. Lu Jingli continued, "Also, I want to choose this song. He. I want you to sing Whirlpool with the person you choose." Everyone at the scene was silent for a few seconds before they all burst into laughter. Jiang Mai was speechless. Ahem, swirl. This second uncle of his had really lost all his integrity. Ning Shi also held her forehead, as if she couldn't bear to look at it. Actually, this kind of song was just a little flirtatious in the lyrics. To her, it was child's play. However, if it was the abstinent Lu Tingxiao singing it, oh my, no, I can't think about it anymore. Just the thought of Lu Tingxiao singing this song made her a little unable to control herself. When the others in the room thought of the lyrics of Whirlpool, they were all speechless. Second young master was too much. What the heck? He actually wanted Lu Tingxiao to sing a song as flirtatious as Whirlpool with someone else. Most importantly, it was too weird to sing this kind of song with a man. If he had to choose, he would definitely choose a woman, right? Chapter 825. Ning Xiao had only asked to sing a normal song, and Lu Tingxiao had rejected her. How could he agree to it this time? Everyone thought that the brothers were just fooling around and didn't take it seriously. Speaking of which, the 2 brothers were really close. Only Lu Jingli would dare to joke with Lu Tingxiao like that. Just as everyone was lamenting, Lu Jingli had already scampered over to pick the song, Whirlpool, and then excitedly urged Lu Tingxiao, "Hurry up and choose someone. If you're not going to sing, then drink. 3 big glasses, not 1 less." Just then, the prelude of the music started. Lu Tingxiao straightened up slightly and reached for the coffee table. It looked like he was going to drink. Everyone looked as if they had expected this. However, the next second, Lu Tingxiao's fingers avoided the wine glass on the coffee table and picked up the microphone next to it. What was Lu Tingxiao going to do? Almost everyone straightened up slightly. Then, under countless burning gazes, Lu Tingxiao casually placed a microphone in Ningxi's hand. Ningxi? What the hell? What did he mean? Was the devil crazy? Was he really going to sing? And chose her to sing with him? Just then, everyone else was going crazy too. Fuck. Ningxi. What did Lu Tingxiao mean? Was he going to sing and chose Ningxi to sing with him? Just as everyone's jaws were about to drop, the prelude ended. Lu Tingxiao casually leaned back on the sofa, slightly raised the microphone in his hand, and opened his thin lips slightly. Following the curves you designed, turning and turning, falling into the eye of the storm. Everything in the world revolves around me, accompanying me, settling down for you. In the private room, a low, hoarse voice that sounded like a cello rang out. Fuck. Did Mr. Lu sing this? My ears are going to get pregnant. It's so good. Did he turn on the original? No. It's really Mr. Lu. Wow. Mr. Lu's voice is so sexy and charming when he sings. This subwoofer is going to knock Gu Chi out. Oh, that's amazing. Didn't you say you couldn't sing? That's so good. Actually, I thought with Mr. Lu's personality, he really couldn't sing. It turns out that I was too naive. Seeing that it was a female voice, Ningxi missed half a beat because she was absent-minded. She had no time to think and hurriedly picked up the microphone. Surpassing reason, surpassing nature, deceiving God to bring you to my side. Even if I love you to the point where you're torn to shreds, I'll still be there to receive you. When you fall to the heavens, just like you, if you're reduced to dust, who still wants to be whole? Come, sink in the depths of me. Along with Ningxi's singing, there was another small-scale scream in the private room. The girl's voice was soft and affectionate, and the end of her voice was like a small hook. Ning, she seemed to be singing calmly, but in fact his face was a little hot. Fuck. What do you mean by come and sink in my depths? The lyrics of this song were so shameful. Damn that Lu Jingli. Of course, if one didn't think too much about it, the lyrics weren't that big of a deal. However, was any of the people present pure and innocent? Then came the chorus. Lu Tingxiao and Ningxi's voices rang out at the same time. Come hug me. From a whirlpool, roll up the storm behind our passionate kiss. Ningxi. Drown you together with the human world. Lu Tingxiao. I love you so much too. Chapter 826. The lyrics of this song were so ambiguous that she couldn't let it go at first. But later, maybe because of the alcohol and Lu Tingxiao's familiar and reassuring aura, she unconsciously relaxed. The more she sang, the better she was. The languid look on her face made people blush and their hearts beat faster. What was even more shocking was the coordination between the two of them. Wasn't it too tacit? The two of them didn't interact at all. They were just singing. They didn't even make eye contact. However, whether it was when they were singing or the feeling and aura between them, it was like they were a couple in love. The natural tacit understanding, the sweetness, and the affection were so strong that it couldn't be dissolved. Lu Tingxiao was such a proud and aloof person, but at this moment he seemed to have descended from heaven to the mortal world. Lu Tingxiao Ningxi, come hug me. Kiss me from the tip of my toes, and your soul falls into the flood inch by inch. Lu Tingxiao, love is eating me away. Ningxi, like a heavenly net. Lu Tingxiao, regardless of the consequences. Ningxi, this is a disaster caused by greed. Finally, the song was over. Only then did everyone finally come back to their senses from the enchanting song. Lu Jingli was the first to applaud. I finally heard you sing a song. Even though he already knew that his brother's voice was extremely sexy when he sang, he was still amazed by it this time. Jianlai also came to himself. It was the first time for him to hear Lu Tingxiao sing. He didn't expect that, with his personality, he would really sing a love song with Ningxi in front of so many people. Everyone applauded and complimented him. Oh my God, Mr. Liu, you sang so well. How could you say you can't sing? You're too modest. You're so good at everything. I think I'd better go home and work in the field instead of in the entertainment circle. Ningxi sang well too. I didn't expect that Beauty Ning not only acts well, but also sings so well. The two of them cooperated so well. I feel like I'm in love. I feel that Mr. Liu is especially partial to Beauty Ning tonight. Ning Shuo felt like she was being slapped in the face as she listened to the praises around her. Not only could Liu Tingxiao sing, but he also sang so well. He turned her down and turned around to sing a love song with Ningxi. It was like putting her face on the ground and stepping on it. Seeing his woman being slapped in the face in public, Su Yin was naturally displeased. But he couldn't do anything about it. She just didn't want to sing with him. How could he force her? Moreover, his mind was not on Ning Shui at this moment. His mind was filled with the scene of Ning, she singing with Liu Tingxiao. Wasn't the feeling between the two of them a little too unusual? It was like a pair of lovers in love. Changli coughed awkwardly and comforted her. Shualuo, don't be sad. Xianxia Entertainment is a subsidiary of Liu's group, and Ningxi is a member of Xianxia Entertainment. It's inevitable that Liu Tingxiao will defend her in public, Shui said. Ning Shui said. Shui. Ning Shui, she said. Tingle. Unable to accomplish anything, but more than enough to spoil things. Ning Shuo was about to die from anger, but she still had to maintain her composure. However, when she turned around, she saw Su Yin staring at Ningxi. Instantly, the jealousy in her heart burned again. She was so angry that she was about to explode. Chapter 827. In the suburbs of the capital, in Ning Shuiluo's new villa, Ning Shuiluo held a glass of red wine in her hand and drank it angrily. She threw the glass to Chang Li and said with a dark expression, "Tell Su Yimo what happened tonight." Understood. Chang Li carefully took the glass and said tentatively, "Actually, it's just a social event. You don't have to be so nervous." Liu Tingxiao is probably just giving Liu Jingli face. Ning Shuiluo glared at her impatiently. Of course I know. Of course I know. Otherwise, why would Liu Tingxiao be interested in Ningxi? Chang Li mumbled and didn't dare to speak. Get lost. I'm annoyed to see you. Useless thing. Chang Li quickly ran away as if she had been pardoned. Ning Shuiluo had been angered so much tonight that she almost exploded. Chang Li didn't want to stay here any longer. She was scolded when she did nothing, but she was still scolded when she did something. She didn't know what was going on recently, but it was as if she was possessed. Nothing went smoothly. After Chang Li left, Ning Shuiluo drank the rest of the red wine in the bottle. Then, she went into the bathtub, took a pedal bath, and changed into a thin nightgown. After that, Ning Shuiluo lay on the spacious bed in the middle of the bedroom. She picked up her phone and made a call. "Hello, Shuiluo?" A man's gentle voice came through the phone. "Brother Yin, it's already so late. Why aren't you sleeping?" Brother Yin, I feel terrible, terrible. What's wrong? What's wrong? Terrible. So terrible. What should I do? I feel like I'm going to die. Don't talk nonsense. Where are you? Is there anyone home? I'm at the cottage in the middle of the lake. Stay here and don't move. I'll go find you right away. After the call, Ning Shuo threw away the phone in her hand and took out a delicate crystal bottle from the drawer at the head of the bed. She poured the expensive essential oil in the bottle onto her palm and slowly applied it to every inch of her skin soon. The sound of a car engine could be heard outside the house, followed by the sound of hurried footsteps approaching from afar. Shuo. As soon as Su Yin opened the bedroom door, he was embraced by a warm and soft body. Brother Yin. Ning Shuo wrapped her arms around the man's waist as if she was hugging onto a life-saving straw. She looked as if she was about to lose everything. Brother Yin, do you not love me anymore? Su Yin frowned. He carried her and placed her on the bed. Why did you drink so much? Is that so? Do you not love me anymore? Ning Shuo raised her head and looked at him. A trace of helplessness flashed across Su Yan's face. How could that be? If I don't love you, who else can I love? Ning Shuo looked at him, hurt. Ningxi, do you still love Ningxi? Su Yan's face stiffened. Don't talk nonsense. Didn't I already tell you very clearly? Why are you letting your imagination run wild? No, it's not that I'm imagining things. Tonight, your eyes were on her the whole time. Ning Shuilua's face was filled with sorrow. Shuilua, you're thinking too much. I'm just worried that Ningxi will be taken advantage of, Su Yin explained. Taken advantage of? How could he lose out if he could get close to someone like Lu Tingxiao? I'm afraid she's looking forward to it. Su Yin, look at me seriously. Do you really only feel guilty toward her? Seeing her flirting with another man, you're just worried, not jealous? Chapter 828. Su Yan's eyes flickered, but only for a moment. Soon, he returned to normal. I'm just worried, not jealous. Have a good rest, and don't worry anymore, okay? You're the only one in my heart. Don't you know that? Finally getting a positive answer, Ning Shuilua's eyes flashed with a trace of complacency. She took the initiative to put her arms around his neck and covered his lips. Brother Yin, hug me. The girl's hot breath was in his ear, and the smooth skin of her chest rubbed against his arm. He could smell a sweet fragrance that made him drown in it. Su Yan's lower body reacted almost immediately. However, for some reason, what came to his mind was not Ning Shuilua's face, but the scene of Ning Shi being kissed by Lu Tingxiao, and the shy expression of the girl covering her face. The reaction of his lower body was even stronger, but his heart felt as if a basin of cold water had been poured over it. Thinking of the ambiguous relationship between Ning Shi and Lu Tingxiao tonight, and comparing it with her indifference to him, Su Yan's heart was even colder. He completely lost the mood. He pulled down Ning Shuilua's arm and covered her with the quilt. You need a rest. You have to get up early tomorrow to catch up with the work. Have you forgotten? It's okay. I can push it off. You have. Ning Shuilua's little hand covered the man's swollen part like a snake. Su Yin stiffened his back and pressed her hand. I'm fine. Go to sleep. With that, he kissed her forehead, turned off the light for her, and gently closed the door. Outside the house, the sound of a car engine could be heard again. Ning Shuo threw away the blanket on her body and stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window. She looked at the car that drove away from the building. In the next second, she swept all the things on the dressing table to the ground. Ning Shi, you bitch. Su Yin didn't touch her, although his attitude towards her was still as gentle as ever. This was something that had never happened before. Especially at the moment when she kissed him, his eyes were not right at all. He was not thinking about her at all. Ning Shi, that bitch, must have secretly seduced Su Yin. She might have even been in contact with Su Yin without her knowing. Damn it, did she still think that she could get Su Yin back? Dream on. Nowadays, the Ning family and the Su family were intertwined. Too many businesses and projects were intertwined. Pulling one part would affect the whole. Su Yin couldn't leave her. After leaving the hut in the middle of the lake, Su Yin drove aimlessly along the road. Unknowingly, he found himself parked in front of the Pearl River Imperial View. He lit a cigarette and sat in the car for a while. In the end, he couldn't resist the urge that grew like weeds in his heart. He opened the car door and entered the building. Standing in front of Ning Shi's apartment, Su Yin hesitated for a moment before pressing the doorbell. In the end, after pressing it several times, there was no response at all. Su Yin frowned. Did she fall asleep, or did she not come back at all? Meanwhile, inside a black Maybach that was driving slowly on the road, a girl's wild runaway singing could be heard. The great river flows to the east, the stars in the sky join the Big Dipper. Hey, join the Big Dipper, roar when you see injustice on the road. Make a move when it's time to make a move. Rush through the 9 provinces. Lu Tingxiao, who was driving, was speechless. Lu Jingli, who was sitting in the back seat, was speechless. Chapter 829. Ning Shi stared at Lu Tingxiao discontentedly as she sang. Driver, open the window. No, not that window. I want to open the sunroof. Sunroof, open it now. Lu Tingxiao pinched between his eyebrows and pressed a button on the car. Instantly, the car turned into an open top. A gust of wind blew over. Ning Shi leaned against the window with her arms outstretched. She was even more excited now. Man on the horse, you're mighty and majestic. The galloping horse is like a gust of wind. The boundless wilderness follows you wherever you go, Lu Jingli said. A soul singer is born. Brother Shi, have you ever thought about entering the music industry? Jiang Mai couldn't stand it anymore. Brother, that's enough. Don't be photographed by the reporters. Hearing this, Ningxi finally restrained herself a little. She hurriedly said, Master, close the window. Close the window. Lu Tingxiao gave her a doting look and said indulgently, It's okay. There are no reporters. Ningxi's eyes suddenly lit up and she began to let loose again. I've waited for 1,000 years. 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 I have no regrets. Who said, love me forever? Just for this sentence, I have no regrets. Jiang Mai's face was full of despair. He regretted his decision to hitchhike. Lu Jingli burped. He looked like he had been through a lot and was used to it. Mandarin ducks and butterflies fly together. A garden full of beautiful spring scenery secretly asked the holy monk, Is my daughter beautiful? 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 Lu Tingxiao said yes. Heh. Ningxi finally calmed down. Platinum Palace. As soon as they arrived, Lu Jingli and Jiang Mai, who had been stuffed with dog food for the whole night, immediately got out of the car and ran away. Lu Tingxiao parked the car and helped the drunk girl into the house. He helped her change her shoes and coat and wiped her face with hot water. Seeing the girl giggling, Lu Tingxiao's mood was also affected. He touched her cheek. Are you in a good mood? Ningxi immediately nodded, her eyes sparkling. Lord Boss, you really have a golden tongue. I've really waited for a better script. Grandpa had recovered. The studio was on the right track, and the new show that she had been dreaming of was finally settled. He couldn't remember how long it had been since he was so happy. Recalling that dark experience, it felt like it was a lifetime ago. Lu Tingxiao stared at the light in the girl's eyes. In the next second, he bent down and kissed her lips. What are you doing? Why did they suddenly start kissing? Lu Tingxiao looked at her with a half smile. Didn't you say that it was too sudden and you didn't have time to feel it? Ning, she suddenly remembered the question someone asked her when they were playing Truth or Dare in the hotel room. The great Demon King's memory was simply amazing. He could still remember even now. How do you feel? Lu Tingxiao looked at her and asked again. Well, Ning, she blinked her eyes and thought seriously for a long time. Then she replied, What if I still don't feel it clearly? Lu Tingxiao chuckled and kissed her again. Ning, she was happily taking advantage of the great Demon King when she suddenly heard footsteps. She hurriedly pushed Lu Tingxiao away and jumped off the bed. Sure enough, it was the soft and adorable little bun who walked in with her slippers. After seeing Ning, the little bun probably thought she was dreaming. She stood there, rubbed her eyes, and then expressionlessly stretched out a little hand to pinch her little bun face. Chapter 830. Ningxi's heart almost melted when she saw the little girl standing there and pinching her own face. She immediately hugged the little fellow. Puff, baby, why are you so cute? I'm not dreaming. Feeling the real body temperature and soft hug, the little girl finally believed that it was really Aunt Xiaoxi. Her short hands grasped Ning, she's closed tightly, and stuck to her arms. At the same time, her grape-like dark eyes stared at Papa behind her vigilantly and confusedly. Papa secretly stayed with Mama without him again. Receiving his son's accusatory gaze, Lu Tingxiao smiled and rubbed his son's little head. I won't compete with you tonight. In order to make Aunt Xiaoxi's half-mother become a full mother, the little girl had indeed sacrificed a lot of time to stick to Ningxi. Lu Tingxiao tucked them in. Go to bed early. I still have something to deal with. Ningxi frowned. Why are you still working so late? Lu Tingxiao nodded. Yes, I have to make money to support my wife and children. Ningxi. Lu Tingxiao chuckled and kissed her forehead. Go to sleep. I'll be okay soon. After coaxing the little girl to sleep, Ningxi was about to turn off the light when her cell phone suddenly lit up. There was a call. Ningxi pressed the answer button before the phone rang, and then walked quietly to the balcony. Hello? Xiaoxi, where are you? Why didn't you go home? Su Yan's slightly anxious voice came from the other end of the phone. How do you know I didn't go home? Ningxi raised her eyebrows. I'm at the door of your apartment. Su Yan replied. What's up? Xiaoxi, where are you now? Su Yan asked. What do you think I should be? Sleeping with a man? Ningxi gathered her coat and looked at the little girl on the bed. Her eyes were so gentle that she didn't feel anything when she heard Su Yan's questioning tone. Ningxi. Su Yan's tone immediately became stern. That's not what I meant. I just wanted to remind you to protect yourself, especially when it comes to Lu Tingxiao. Don't ever have any thoughts that you shouldn't have and get involved in this mess. I'm sure you know that Su Yimo from your company has always had an ambiguous relationship with him. I heard that the Lu family has already chosen a fiancé for him, not to mention that he has an illegitimate child. In order to prevent Ning Xiuelaw from misunderstanding him, Su Yin, the best boyfriend, was determined to cut ties with her. What was wrong with him tonight? Not only did he wait for her at her door, but he also called her in a hurry and said so much, Ning, she couldn't be bothered to think about what he wanted to do. She said faintly, Young Master Su, it looks like I need to remind you again that my matters are none of your business. Also, as for Lu Tingxiao, even if I have to sleep with him for one night, it's still better than marrying someone like you. Don't worry about it. With that, he hung up the phone. Su Yin looked at the phone that had been hung up, and his expression was extremely ugly. What did he mean by sleeping with Lu Tingxiao was better than marrying him? This was the biggest insult to a man. What's more, the person who said this was Ning Shi, who used to worship him like a god. He was indeed not as powerful as Lu Tingxiao, but he was still one of the top figures in the capital. How could he be so unbearable in her heart? Chapter 831. Su Yin cursed in a low voice. With a gloomy face, he punched the car door. She had softened her attitude towards him a while ago. Why was she so cold and sharp now? He couldn't help thinking about Ning Shi, who was so unpredictable and temperamental. His mind was full of thoughts, and he couldn't control himself at all. The next morning, looking at the servants who kept carrying things in and out downstairs, Ning Shi felt a little strange. What are they doing? Miss Xiaoxi, these are birthday gifts. Steward Yuan replied. Birthday gifts? Yes, it's Master's birthday soon. No wonder. Ning, she looked like she understood. Only the top celebrities would be invited to the birthday party. Those who were not qualified to be invited but wanted to curry favor with the Lu family would naturally take this opportunity to send all kinds of gifts. You're awake. Did you sleep well last night? Lu Tingxiao came out of the bedroom. Ning she nodded and asked casually, Is your father's birthday coming soon? Yes. Ning she scratched her hair and said with a frown, Does Xiaobao need to be present then? Lu Tingxiao knew what she was worried about and replied, 2 years ago, Xiaobao was not in a good state, so he didn't attend. This year, even if he goes, he will just show up. Ning, she was a little relieved. You must be very busy these days. I happen to be free in the morning. Can I send Xiaobao to school today? As soon as Ning she finished speaking, her legs softened. Little Baozi, who was hanging on her leg, had already hugged her. He raised his head and his little face was shining. Obviously, he had heard that Aunt Xiaoxi was going to send him to school. After breakfast, Ning she put on a long dress, a pink clip, put on a very gentle and virtuous makeup, and happily sent Xiaobao to school. Because Xiaoxi's mother was accompanying him, little Baozi was in a very good mood. He was always cold like a little robot with a rare soft smile on his face, which was very cute on the way to school. Several teachers couldn't help sighing. I thought Lu Qingyu was autistic. Isn't it good? Yes, but this child seems to be closer to his mother. The little Shota is really charming when he smiles. Sob, sob, sob. And he looks just like his mother when he smiles. I wonder how many girls will fall for him when he grows up. Speaking of which, why do I feel that Mrs. Lu looks a little familiar? Now that you mention it, I also feel that it's a bit like a celebrity who has just become popular recently. I know who you're talking about. Is it the female general who acted as a couple with Jiang Mai and Xianxia? I like her quite a lot. However, it should only be a slight resemblance. If you take a closer look at their temperament and style, they are not the same person. After sending Little Bun to the classroom, Ningxi bumped into Little Bun's teacher in the corridor. "Hey, Mrs. Liu." Mr. Wang hurriedly stopped her. Ningxi turned around. "Teacher Wang." "Mrs. Liu, nice to see you. I wanted to talk to you. Do you have time now?" "Yes." Ningxi nodded hurriedly. She couldn't help but feel a little worried. She didn't know why Xiaobao's teacher suddenly looked for her. Did something happen to Xiaobao at school? Chapter 832. In the office, Mr. Wang poured a cup of tea for Ningxi and said tactfully, "Mrs. Liu, here's the thing. There have been several tests in school. Have you seen Lu Qingyu's results?" "Yes." Ningxi nodded. Ms. Wang didn't know what to say when she saw Ningxi's calm reaction. She coughed lightly and said, "Lu Qingyu scored 0 in all 3 subjects. Yes, I know that. And the point is, he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't even do a single question and handed in a blank paper. Even if he doesn't understand, he can't do a single question." Ms. Wang sighed and said, "I just want to understand what this child is thinking. You know your child's situation. As teachers, we can't communicate with him." Ningxi heaved a sigh of relief. As long as Xiao Bao wasn't being bullied at school, everything was fine. Ningxi deliberated over her words and said, "Ms. Wang, thank you for your concern for my son. You know my son's situation. We sent him to school just to let him have more contact with children of his age and hope that he will be happier. Apart from that, we don't care about anything else. We don't ask for grades, so you don't have to feel pressured." Ms. Wang didn't know what to say after hearing this. This was the first time she had met a parent who didn't care about grades. Nowadays, all parents were focused on their children's grades. Even if they were only a few years old, they would start all kinds of classes, afraid that they would fall behind others. But since Ningxi, as a parent, said that grades didn't matter and that it wasn't the teacher's fault, what else could she say? Plus, Xiao Bao's situation was special, so she couldn't say anything more. She coughed lightly and said, "Okay then, I understand. I'm still very grateful for your concern for Lu Qingyu, Ms. Wang. Thank you. If it weren't for you, Xiao Bao wouldn't have adapted to school so quickly." Ningxi thanked her politely. If she didn't know Xiao Bao, she might have the same worries as her teacher. However, she had been with Xiao Bao for such a long time, so she knew very well that Xiao Bao's heaven-defying genes had shocked her many times. This little fellow's IQ was simply off the charts, and he was super talented in many things. The only question was whether he was willing to do it. Even Ningxi herself felt that it was an insult to Little Bun's intelligence if she asked him to do the test papers and questions in kindergarten. Every child was special and should be treated in a special way. So, why force him to do those questions for the sake of an adult's vanity and get 100 marks? "Mrs. Liu, you're too kind. This is what I should do." Although Lu Qingyu is a bit introverted, he is a very lovable child. I also hope that he can be well. Ningxi's polite and respectful attitude made Teacher Wang very happy, and he hurriedly said with a smile. Several days later, in the evening, today was the old man's 60th birthday. The banquet was about to begin, and everyone in the old house was busy. Yin Rui was wearing a noble and gorgeous crimson cheongsam today. She was directing the servants while looking nervously outside the door. Similarly, Lu Chongshan was pacing around with a nervous and expectant expression. Chapter 833. Finally, a black Maybach stopped at the main entrance. Then the door opened, and 2 people, one big and one small, alighted from the car. The father and son were dressed in custom-made suits of the same style and color. To match today's occasion, Lu Tingxiao's tie and Xiao Baozi's bow tie were both bright red and looked very festive. The moment the 2 of them appeared, they immediately attracted everyone's attention. The servants greeted them with smiles on their faces. "Greetings, young master." "Greetings, young master." Yin Rui heaved a sigh of relief when she saw the arrival of her son, especially her precious grandson. She went up to them with a smile. My baby is here." Lu Chongshan's stern expression softened when he saw Xiao Bao. Xiao Bao is here. This year was different from the past. After all, it was his birthday. Regardless of whether it was from the big picture or from a personal perspective, he really hoped that his only precious grandson could come. After all, Xiao Bao was his only grandson. Of his two sons, neither of them was easy to deal with. One was a man who refused to get married, and the other was completely uninterested in men and women. Seeing that the Lu family was about to end, Xiao Bao's appearance was like a ray of light in the darkness. Moreover, the little fellow became more and more adorable as he grew up. He was more outstanding than his peers in all aspects, and was even better than Ting Xiao in the past. Ever since Xiao Bao was born, the Lu family had a successor. Lu Chongshan's heart immediately calmed down, and he lived a comfortable life for a few years. He didn't even care about his two sons anymore. Who knew that there would be unpredictable winds and clouds in the sky? Because of a momentary lapse in judgment, such a thing actually happened, and he blamed himself for 2 whole years. In the past 2 years, Xiao Bao's condition was fluctuating. He could only watch helplessly as the intelligent and quick-witted child turned into a soulless puppet. Dark clouds began to cover the sky above the Lu family, and he felt as though a huge rock was pressing down on his heart. But now he finally saw some hope for Xiao Bao to get better. However, this hope was built on an even bigger worry. He was on tenterhooks every day, not daring to relax at all. He was happy, but more worried. He was worried that the same thing would happen again. He was worried that it would be an even bigger disaster. Lu Chongshan recalled the time when Xiao Bao was very young. Xiao Bao would sit on his knees and giggle at him. Xiao Bao would call him Grandpa in his arms. Lu Chongshan's eyes suddenly turned a little red. He turned his face away and said, "Ting Xiao, take Xiao Bao into the house to play for a while. There are a lot of people today, so don't scare him. When most of the guests have arrived, take him to meet someone and greet them." "All right." Lu Tingxiao nodded. As if sensing his father's emotions, he said, "Xiao Bao has prepared a birthday present for you." Xiao Bao blinked his eyes and nodded in agreement with Papa. Hearing this, Lu Chongshan's solemn mood dissipated a little. He smiled and said, "Oh, is that so? Xiao Bao is so filial. Grandpa is looking forward to it." Watching the adult and the child enter the house, Yin Rui sighed. "When Xiao Bao gets better and Ting Xiao marries Yao, my heart will be completely at ease." Lu Chongshan shook his head. "It's not that easy." At this moment, the adult and the child were completely controlled by that woman. Chapter 834. As dusk fell, the large carved gate of the old mansion, which had been closed all year round, slowly opened. The distinguished guests from the capital and from afar slowly drove into the majestic main mansion. All guests had to go through a metal inspection before entering. Other than the gold and silver jewelry worn by the ladies, no dangerous products were allowed in. The manor gradually became lively, and luxury cars came one after another, each more luxurious than the last. As one of the biggest events in the capital's top circle, the reporters had long been eyeing it. However, the Lu family had always been low-key, and this banquet was not open to the public, so naturally no one dared to touch it. "Brother Lu, happy birthday!" Guan Rui congratulated with a face full of smiles. Other than Guan Ziyao, there was also a young man beside him. "You're too polite. Please come in. This is..." Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui looked suspiciously at the 13 or 14-year-old boy beside Guan Rui. He had a regular appearance and a slightly arrogant expression. "This is my grandson, Guan Zhichin," Guan Rui introduced. Yin Rui immediately had a look of realization. "Oh, so it's Zhichin. When I first saw him, he was still a little kid. In the blink of an eye, he's already so big. I didn't recognize him at all. He should be in junior high now, right? Auntie Lu, he's in his 3rd year of high school. He skipped a few grades in between." Guan Ziyao replied, "Oh, not bad. Little Chun is really talented. He'll definitely be stronger than his father in the future." Guan Rui looked at his grandson with a face full of pride. However, he still said modestly, "He's still far from it." After entering the hall, Guanxiao looked around and asked casually, Annie Lu, why don't I see Xiao Bao? Oh, Xiao Bao. Xiao Bao is still in the house. I'm afraid he won't be used to the crowd, so I'll bring him out later. Speaking of her grandson, Yin Rui's tone was very loving. Hearing that, Guanxiao held Yin Rui's arm and said with concern, Auntie, about Xiao Bao's situation. I know a little. When I was overseas, I minored in psychology and came into contact with quite a few of these special children. Perhaps I can help. This, Yin Rui was a little hesitant. Otherwise, it's not a solution in the long run. When our Zhichan was 5 years old, he could already attend company meetings with my brother without any stage fright. Guanxiao continued. She knew that the most important person to the Lu clan was not Yin Rui or Lu Chongshan, but Lu Tingxiao's son of unknown origin, Xiao Bao, Lu Tingxiao's only son, Lu Chongshan, and Yin Rui's only grandson. This was because Lu Chongshan's family only had one male grandson. Therefore, they valued this child more than anyone expected. For this reason, when she was abroad, she even studied psychology for a period of time, focusing on autism. For some reason, Yin Rui felt a little uncomfortable when she heard that. True autism was completely isolated from the outside world. Their family Xiao Bao was just a little stimulated and was more introverted than the average child. How could it be autism? Even Xin Mufeng had said that Xiao Bao did not fall under the category of autism. At most, it could be considered post-traumatic stress disorder. What's more, since Ningxi appeared, Xiao Bao's condition had improved a lot. He could laugh and make noise, and he could even speak. Chapter 835. However, she knew that Guanxiao had good intentions, so she patted her hand and thanked her. Good girl, thank you, Xiao. Xiao Bao is doing well now. If I need anything, I'll definitely look for you. Before Xiao Bao's condition completely stabilized, even Guanxiao wouldn't dare to let Xiao Bao come into contact with him. Hearing that it was possible, Guanxiao immediately asked with concern, Is Xiao Bao in school now? Yes, he's in school, Yin Rui said, looking very comforted. Which school? Guanxiao asked again. Xianxia Kindergarten. As far as I know, this school is not bad, but it seems to be just an ordinary kindergarten. Xiao Bao's condition should be treated differently. I know a school that specializes in autistic children. Previously, I especially went there to do a psychological research, and it's really not bad. Many children's conditions have improved greatly after they went there. I know the principal there. Perhaps, should I ask Xiao Bao to go there to have a look? Guanxiao asked tentatively. Although Yin Rui didn't think that Xiao Bao was autistic, she would naturally be more than happy to help Xiao Bao get better. Hearing Guanxiao's words, she was naturally a little tempted. She looked a little hesitant as she said, This, I'll have to discuss with Ting Xiao before making a decision. Guanxiao hurriedly said, That's what we should do. There's no rush, you guys can discuss it. If you need anything, just contact me at any time. I'll also talk to Ting Xiao about this, and see what he thinks. Okay. Thank you, Xiao. Yin Rui looked gratified. Not only did Guanxiao not mind Xiao Bao's existence, she was even more considerate of Xiao Bao. Naturally, she was even more satisfied. The two of them were chatting harmoniously when suddenly, a little maid ran over in panic. She lowered her voice and whispered into Yin Rui's ear, Old madam, bad news. Young master is missing. What did you say? What do you mean missing? Yin Rui's expression changed. Guanxiao looked over with concern. What happened? A moment later, Yin Rui, Guanxiao, Lu Chongshan, Lu Tingxiao, and Lu Jingli all appeared in Xiao Bao's room. Lu Chongshan's expression was unusually ugly. Why would someone go missing? How do you take care of children? The maid looked at Yin Rui and then at Guanxiao. She seemed to be in a dilemma. However, she was afraid of Lu Chongshan's anger, so she said honestly, Actually, young master came out just now. He suddenly ran away after hearing the conversation between old madam and Miss Guan. There were too many people at that time, so I couldn't catch up with him. Later, I couldn't find him no matter how hard I tried. That's why I got anxious. As the maid spoke, she was so scared that she was about to cry. This young master was the lifeblood of the entire Lu family. If there was even the slightest mishap, she would definitely die. What were you two talking about just now? Lu Chongshan immediately looked sharply in the direction of Yin Rui and Guan Ziao. Yin Rui's face paled. Could it be? Guan Ziao's expression also changed. Say something. Lu Chongshan looked at Yin Rui anxiously. Just as Lu Chongshan was panicking, Guan Ziao's voice suddenly came from Lu Tingxiao's phone. Auntie, I know a little about Xiao Bao's situation. He's a special child. When our Ji-chan was 5 years old, he could already attend company meetings with my brother without any stage fright. I know a school that specializes in autistic children. While they were talking, Lu Tingxiao had already used his phone to accurately pull up the surveillance footage from that time. Chapter 836. Lu Chongshan's expression darkened as he listened to Guan Ziao's words. Xiao Bao's kidnapping had caused a huge commotion back then. Although the Lu family had sealed off the news and the outside world didn't know about it, the people in the circle still knew about it. Moreover, Xiao Bao hadn't appeared in any formal events for 2 whole years, so it was inevitable that there would be all sorts of rumors. Some people even privately speculated that Xiao Bao had been scared silly and that the only grandson of the Lu family was completely crippled. Xiao Bao might have been slightly autistic, but Lu Chongshan couldn't help but feel uncomfortable when he heard Guan Ziao calling him a special child and an autistic child. She even compared her nephew, Guan Zhichen. The atmosphere became a little awkward as the voices from the surveillance cameras rang out. Guan Ziao furrowed her brows and said, Auntie Lu, and I didn't say anything that might agitate the child. Is there another reason? Lu Jingli glanced at her and mumbled, Isn't that agitating? Think about it from another perspective. If it were you, would you be happy to be called sick and sent to a special school? Xiao Bao is a normal child. Of course he would be hurt and upset after hearing these words. Lu Jingli's words struck a chord with Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui. Guan Ziao's expression stiffened. Although she didn't think that it was her fault, she couldn't refute Lu Jingli's words. She could only apologize guiltily. I'm sorry, I didn't expect things to turn out this way. Yin Rui knew that she didn't do it on purpose. She patted her on the shoulder and tried to smooth things over. Ziao, it's not your fault. No one knew that Xiao Bao would suddenly come and hear all this. Lu Chongshan's expression was solemn as he said, The most important thing now is to find Xiao Bao. The consequences would be dire if something were to happen at an event like this. Ting Xiao, can you see where Xiao Bao went from the surveillance cameras? Yin Rui asked anxiously. Lu Tingxiao replied, He avoided the surveillance cameras on purpose. Guan Ziao was a little surprised to hear Lu Tingxiao's words. How could a 5-year-old child know how to avoid the surveillance cameras? Wasn't Lu Tingxiao exaggerating a little? He must have just avoided them by coincidence. When Yin Rui heard this, she became even more anxious. Then what should we do? There are so many guests today, and we can't openly look for him. Guan Ziao wanted to make amends for her mistake, so she thought for a while and said, Under normal circumstances, a child with Xiao Bao's personality is usually insecure, so he would hide in a place where he feels most secure. Maybe he's hiding in this room. Have you searched the house? Guan Ziao asked the little maid. The little maid immediately nodded. I looked everywhere. Are you sure? Guan Ziao asked again. Have you looked in the cupboard, under the bed? Cupboard? Under the bed? The little maid shook her head and frowned. No, our young master loves cleanliness. Why would he go to that kind of place? Let's look around. In my experience, these are the most likely places. Guan Ziao said. The little maid did not move immediately. Instead, she looked in the direction of Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui. Chapter 837. After receiving the affirmation, she hurriedly started searching. Yin Rui and Lu Chongshan also helped to search around the house. In the end, after searching for half a day and even rummaging through the drawers, he still found nothing. Guan Ziao thought for a while. Does he have a habit of going somewhere? The little maid was covered in dust. She wiped her sweat and said, I've searched all the places that the young master could have gone. Tingxiao, what should we do now? Say something. Yin Rui looked at her son anxiously. Lu Tingxiao glanced at his phone. I've checked several entrances and exits. He hasn't left the villa. It's all my fault. I didn't notice him coming. I said something that made him sad. Yin Rui blamed herself. She felt sorry for Xiaobao when she thought that he might be hiding somewhere sad. Lu Chongshan didn't relax at all. You mean he must be at home? But they still had to find the person. We can't leave him alone, can we? Let him calm down. Lu Tingxiao said expressionlessly. When Lu Chongshan heard that, he immediately erupted like a volcano. Are you even human? He is still young. Let him calm down. Xiaobao's condition was unstable to begin with, and this is just a little better. Do you want him to return to his previous state? Seeing that Lu Tingxiao was still indifferent, Lu Chongshan's face darkened. He suppressed his anger and said, All right, you don't have to trick me anymore. Call that woman over. That woman? Guanxiao was alarmed when she heard the key word. Lu Tingxiao glanced at his father coldly. Father, who are you talking about? That woman. Lu Chongshan glared at his son and said, Ningxi, I don't know who she is in the Lu family. Just tell me, and I'll be there. Lu Tingxiao said unhurriedly. Lu Jingli shook his head and clicked his tongue. TSK, 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 TSK. Aren't you two dating now? Lu Chongshan said grumpily. So you know, Lu Tingxiao's casual words obviously meant something. She already knew that he was dating someone, yet she still tried to matchmake him with another woman. When she was free, she would think of that woman, but when she was busy, she would remember that she was his dating partner. Being mocked by his son in front of an outsider, Lu Chongshan's old face obviously couldn't take it. Bastard, how can you talk to your father like this? You too. What are you arguing about? Can't you see that this is the time to quarrel? Yin Rui pulled Lu Chongshan away and kept signaling him with her eyes, telling him to control his temper even if it was for Xiaobao. Then, Yin Rui looked at Lu Tingxiao and tried to persuade him. Tingxiao, your father's words are a little harsh. Don't bother with him. Xiaobao is more important right now. Brother, no matter what, let's call sister-in-law over first. In case something unexpected happens, we can be prepared. Lu Jingli tried to smooth things over at the right time. Today was his father's birthday after all, and it wouldn't be good to make things too tense. Yin Rui nodded repeatedly. Lu Tingxiao, I'll ask her if she has time. What did he mean by if she had time? Even if she didn't have time, she should drop everything and rush over. What could be more important than Xiaobao? Lu Chongshan was not very happy with Lu Tingxiao's attitude, but he had to put up with it since he was asking for help. Okay, call her now. Yin Rui said hurriedly. Chapter 838. Guanxiao looked at the scene in front of her and couldn't help but feel alarmed. What was going on? Judging from the situation, why did it seem that the woman had a great influence on Xiaobao? So much so that Yin Rui and Lu Chongshan were afraid of her, even though they didn't like her. She was just an actress. How could she be able to get close to Xiaobao? After all, she had heard that even the famous psychologist Qin Mufeng couldn't do anything about Xiaobao. At the same time, in Zeiling's studio. After finishing a job, she went to the studio to have a look. Gong Xianxia, Han Momo, and Xiao Weilon were all busy. After greeting the three of them, she called Gong Xianxia to her office alone. Boss, what can I do for you? Yeah. She nodded and looked at him. Tell me what you think of Director Qiao. Gong Xianxia seemed hesitant. Tell me the truth? She smiled helplessly. I asked you to tell me the truth. Okay, Gong Xianxia coughed. Let's talk about Director Qiao first. She's really cold. We didn't dare talk to her for the past few days. However, her business ability is absolutely top-notch. If it were us, it would take days of work, but she could even make a decision with just a glance. So, in the few days that she was here, our work efficiency was very fast. Basically, after the fashion week, the orders were almost finished. She breathed a sigh of relief. Then, Gong Xianxia said hesitantly, But what? But how should I put it? I can feel that her heart isn't here. She never takes the initiative to do anything except for the work at hand. Xianxia answered honestly. Ning, she wasn't surprised. It's rare for her to be able to do what she has done. After all, she had come here halfway. To her, this was just a mission that Xianxia had assigned to her. She didn't want to be meritorious, but she did not want to make any mistakes. Apart from what she was supposed to do, she would not do anything else. Once the time limit was up, she would immediately leave. Okay, I got the gist of it. Xiao Weilan has been a great help to us. Get along well. As for the studio, we have to pay more attention to it. We can't rely on her for everything, Ning, she said. Xianxia, understood, boss. Ning, she was talking to Xianxia when her phone suddenly rang. She looked at the caller ID and found it was Lu Tingxiao. In an instant, Ning, she's originally strong and resolute expression immediately became gentle and sweet. Xianxia could guess who it was the moment he saw Ning, she's expression. He said sensibly, "Boss, if there's nothing else, I'll go do something first." "All right, go ahead." After Xianxia went out, Ning, she immediately picked up the phone. "Hello, Lord Boss, why are you calling me at this time? What are you doing?" Lu Tingxiao asked, his tone as gentle as water. "I'm at the studio. I just came over to check on the situation. If you're not busy, can you come to the old house?" Lu Tingxiao asked. "I'm not busy. But why do you want me to go to the old mansion all of a sudden? Isn't today your father's birthday?" Ning, she frowned slightly. She almost immediately sensed that something was wrong. Did something happen to little Bao? Chapter 839. Don't worry, Xiao Bao is fine. I just can't find him. I've checked the surveillance cameras, and he hasn't left. He must still be in the old house. Lu Tingxiao replied. What? He can't be found? Why can't he be found all of a sudden? I'll be right there. Let's talk about it later. Hearing that it was about Xiao Bao, Ning, she had no time to ask more questions. She was about to leave immediately. Be careful on the road. Don't worry. Take a taxi. Don't drive yourself. Lu Tingxiao reminded her worriedly. Apparently, he was worried that she would race again. I know. In the old house, Lu Jingli and Yan Rui were relieved to see that Lu Tingxiao had successfully called Xiao Bao over. Guan Ziao forced a smile and asked casually, "It seems that Miss Ning has a good relationship with Xiao Bao, right?" "Yes, our Xiao Bao quite likes that girl and listens to her," Yan Rui replied after a moment of deliberation. This matter couldn't be concealed any longer. Yan Rui simply gave Guan Ziao a heads-up in advance. Hearing that, Guan Ziao's eyes flickered. She didn't expect that woman to be smarter than she had imagined. She had already established a relationship with Xiao Bao. Guan Ziao sighed and said hopefully, "That's great. As long as Miss Ning is here, she can definitely find Xiao Bao." Although she deliberately said so, in fact, after a little speculation, she knew that Ning, she must not have been to the old house many times. She probably didn't even go to the whole old house. The old house was so big. How could she find Xiao Bao in a place she was not familiar with and without alarming the guests? There was a saying that the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. Lu Chongshan and Yan Rui naturally thought of this as well, but apart from that, they did not have any better ideas. We can't count on an outsider. I've asked the servants to keep quiet and continue to look for him. If it doesn't work, we'll end the banquet early. Lu Chongshan said seriously. Guan Ziao couldn't help feeling shocked. Although she had been prepared, she seemed to have underestimated the importance Lu Chongshan attached to Xiao Bao. The old house of the Lu family. By the time Ning she arrived, most of the guests had arrived. The courtyard was brightly lit. She could vaguely hear melodious music and the guests' heated conversations. Tonight, the surrounding area was under martial law, so the taxi could only drive to the foot of the mountain. Fortunately, as soon as Ning she got out of the car, she saw Lu Jingli waiting by the roadside. "What's going on tonight?" Lu Jingli started the engine and explained the whole story to her as he drove. "That's what happened. I don't know where Xiao Bao is hiding to feel sad right now. Poor child." Ning she narrowed her eyes. There was a coldness in her eyes that didn't match her aura at all. "Is Guan Zhichen very powerful?" He's been touted as a genius since he was young. He's only 13 years old, but he's already in his third year of high school. He's going to take the college entrance examination next year and prepare to apply for Imperial City University. Of course, he definitely can't be compared to our little treasure. He can't even compare to me, okay? As they spoke, the car had already arrived at the entrance. Lu Jingli went around and opened the door for Ningxi. He scratched his head worriedly. Cici, it seems to be a little tricky this time. In the past, Xiaobao would at most hide in the attic and lock himself up. This time, I can't see him at all. I don't know where he is hiding. After all, you're not familiar with the layout of the old house. If you can't find him, don't force yourself. At most, you can ask my father to end the banquet early. Nothing is more important than Xiaobao. While Lu Jingli was muttering, Ningxi suddenly let out a soft cry. Then, she bent down with a surprised face and hugged the little fellow who rushed out of the darkness. Xiaobao, baby, you scared Aunt Xiaoxia. Where did you go just now? Lu Jingli was dumbfounded as he looked at Xiaobao, who they couldn't find anywhere. Brother Shi, your automatic treasure hunting function is amazing. Chapter 840. At the same time, somewhere in the backyard, Lu Tingxiao, Lu Chongshan, and Yin Rui were all there. Guan Ziao was also there, surrounded by a few trembling servants. The butler was giving orders to the people on the other end of the line through a wireless walkie-talkie. Master, we still haven't found young master. Butler Xing replied with sweat all over his forehead. Lu Chongshan's face darkened. Send more people. If we send more people, the guests will be suspicious. Butler Xing looked hesitant. They told the public that Yin Rui had accidentally lost a precious necklace, so they were looking for it. But if it was just a necklace, it was unreasonable to send so many people. Moreover, none of the masters of the Lu family had shown up tonight. The guests were not fools. They might be suspicious by now. Retreat. Lu Tingxiao glanced at the time on his watch and said to Xingwu. One asked him to send more people, and the other asked him to retreat. Xingwu looked at old Master Lu and then at young Master Lu. He froze. Who should he listen to? We haven't found Xiaobao yet. Why should we retreat? Lu Chongshan was furious. Ningxi will be here soon. Lu Tingxiao said. So what if she's here? Is she a fairy? We've turned over the lawn and still can't find Xiaobao. How could she find him by herself? Lu Chongshan said impatiently. Tingxiao, Xiaobao's safety is more important. You should listen to Uncle Lu and send more people. Guan Ziao persuaded. Xingwu, what are you waiting for? Lu Chongshan urged. Xingwu was stuck between a rock and a hard place. Out of the corner of his eyes, he suddenly saw something not too far in front of him and was dumbfounded. Young master, what? Xiaobao, where? Yin Rui and Lu Chongshan asked in unison. That looks like young master. All of a sudden, everyone looked in the direction that Xingwu was pointing at. Then they saw Lu Jingli and Ningxi walking in their direction. Ningxi was carrying a child in her arms. The little boy was wearing Lu Jingli's suit jacket. He was hugging the girl's neck tightly and burying his face in her shoulder. It was a posture that only a child would have when he was extremely insecure. All of a sudden, everyone went up to greet him with a face full of surprise. Jingli, where did you find little Bao? Yin Rui was extremely excited. I didn't look for her at all. As soon as my sister-in-law appeared, Xiaobao appeared on his own. Lu Jingli shrugged. No one had expected it to be like this. Everyone's face was filled with astonishment. In the end, it wasn't Ningxi who found Xiaobao. It was Xiaobao who found her. No wonder Lu Tingxiao was so sure that Ningxi would be able to find Xiaobao. Clearly, Xiaobao was in the vicinity, just that he didn't want to show himself. Now that he saw the person he wanted to see, the person he could rely on, and the person who gave him a sense of security, he naturally came out. In any case, Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui finally heaved a sigh of relief, but they did not know how to treat Ningxi. Ningxi didn't care about all this. She was wholeheartedly focused on little Bon. She was coaxing him softly when the little fellow suddenly popped his little head out. He held the writing board in his trembling little hand, as if he had something to say. Baby, what's wrong? Ning, she hurriedly took the writing board. The next second, when she saw what Xiaobao wrote, her eyes instantly turned red. Xiaobao wrote on the writing board, Mom, I want to go home. Chapter 841. Mom, I want to go home. Seeing these words, Yin Rui's tears flowed out of her eyes. Only now did she realize how much damage her words to Zi Yao had caused to Xiaobao. If he hadn't been extremely sad, he wouldn't have written such helpless words. They claimed that they loved Xiaobao the most, but they couldn't even give him a home. Xiaobao didn't even have a sense of belonging here. He was at home, but he said he wanted to go home. Guan Ziyao's attention was on the word mom. She had thought that this woman was just familiar with Xiaobao, but she didn't expect that Xiaobao had already accepted this woman as his mother. No, she had to hurry up. Ning, she didn't want to get involved in such an occasion. She had planned to leave after comforting Xiaobao, but now she completely changed her mind. She wanted to take advantage of this occasion to make everyone dare not look down on Xiaobao anymore. Even if she and Lu Tingxiao couldn't have a smooth journey in the future, she hoped that Xiaobao could be fine even without her. So Ning, she calmed herself down and said to Xiaobao in a very gentle tone, Baby, be good. This is your home. Besides, today is Grandpa's birthday. We specially prepared a great birthday gift for Grandpa. Have you forgotten? When Little Bun heard this, he didn't have any reaction. He just hugged Ning, she even tighter. I'll give the gift to Grandpa with you later, okay? Ning, she said again. Hearing this, Xiaobao finally rubbed Ning, she's shoulder, and nodded in agreement. He wanted to go home. Wherever Xiaobao's mom was, that was home. After comforting Xiaobao, Ning, she looked at the two elders and said worriedly, Xiaobao might have been outside for a long time, so he must be very cold. He'd better take a hot bath as soon as possible. Yin Rui hurriedly said, Then come in. Don't stand in the yard. Lu Chongshan was ready to let Xiaobao and Ning Shi leave, but he didn't expect that Xiaobao would still stay, so he hurriedly let them in. As long as Xiaobao was willing to stay, even if that woman wanted to use Xiaobao to show her face at the birthday banquet, he would still indulge her. In the banquet hall at the front, the guests had been waiting for too long and had already begun to whisper among themselves. Seeing that Xiaobao's condition had stabilized, Lu Chongshan hurriedly went to the front with Yin Rui to greet the guests. My apologies for making you wait so long. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend my birthday banquet. Elder Lu, you're too kind. It's our honor to be invited by you, sir. After Lu Chongshan's polite greetings, the crowd also warmly congratulated him. On the surface, they didn't show any unusual expressions. However, when they turned their heads, they couldn't help but secretly speculate. What do you think of what happened tonight? It's said that old Madame Lu's beloved necklace is missing, but it's just a necklace. Does it need several owners to disappear for half a night? Could it be that the young master of the Lu clan is acting up again? Most likely. The Lu clan is really unlucky. They only have one son, and he has turned into a fool. Haha, the Lu clan is so powerful now. How can it not have some dark secrets? I'm afraid that karma has fallen on their descendants. Chapter 842. The Lus are too much. Lu Tingxiao is not even married, and he already has an illegitimate child. Our family didn't even say anything. What you said was for the child's good. It's fine if he's not grateful, but how can you be blamed for something happening to him? Guan Rui was enraged when he heard his daughter's words. Dad, calm down. Uncle Lu and Auntie Lu did not blame me. They even comforted me and said that it had nothing to do with me. Auntie Lu was very polite to me and was very grateful to me. Guan Ziao explained hurriedly. Guan Rui's expression softened a little. That's more like it. Is that woman really that close to Xiaobao? Guan Ziao nodded unhappily. I saw Xiaobao calling her mommy. Guan Rui looked at his daughter and asked in a deep voice, Ziao, what do you think is the most important thing for you to do now? Build a good relationship with Xiaobao, Guan Ziao replied. Guan Rui shook his head. Wrong. Although you are smart, you are still too muddle-headed on this matter. That child is basically a useless person now. What's the use of sucking up to a useless person? That woman already has the child in her hands. Did you see Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui relenting? Even if she is dating Lu Tingxiao, they still did not acknowledge her. They did not even invite her to an event like today, and even tried so hard to use a child to get her to come. Guan Ziao said solemnly, "This is because that woman's background is too low. Moreover, I can tell that Uncle Lu and Annie Lu really care about Xiaobao. That's why I want Xiaobao to like me. That way, even Ting Xiao will value me more." Guan Rui sighed and analyzed the situation for her. Xiaobao is the only bloodline of the Lus after all, and he is their flesh and blood. Naturally, they will care about him. It was precisely because they cared about him that the Lu family was more cautious and harsh when it came to choosing his mother. Do you know what the position of the Lu family's future mistress means? So what if that woman makes Xiaobao happy? At most, the Lus can just hire her to be Xiaobao's tutor or even nanny to take care of him. But is Lu Chongshan that muddle-headed to let her marry into the family? Hearing those words, Guan Ziao was visibly shaken. Guan Rui patted his daughter's shoulder and said earnestly, "So, Ziao, don't put the cart before the horse. Right now, the most important thing for you is to make Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui value you more. Of course, if you want to, it'll be easy for you. You've already hit the nail on the head. That woman's family background is too low. No matter how much she jumps around, it's impossible for her to marry into the Lu family. You must be more magnanimous. Don't get upset over such a trivial matter. Even if you marry him in the future, you must have the magnanimity of a mistress. The position of the Lu family's matriarch can only be yours. Do you understand?" "Dad, I understand." Hearing this, Guan Ziao nodded with a firm gaze. The restlessness in her heart also dissipated. Guan Rui looked at his beloved daughter with a gratified expression. "It's good that you understand. In fact, there was a very important point that he didn't mention. In the future, when Ziao married into the Lu family and had children with Lu Tingxiao, with the genes of the Guan family, would there be any children that Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui wouldn't like? By then, their attention would naturally shift from that wastrel." Chapter 843. Dong, dong, dong. Someone knocked on the door. Ningxi walked over and opened the door. At the door, a little maid stood there with a bowl of soup in her hand. "Miss Ning, this is the ginger soup that Madam asked the kitchen to cook. It can drive away the cold." "Ah, thank you. Sorry to trouble you. I'll let the young master drink it immediately after his bath. It's nothing. It's my duty." The little maid bowed respectfully and left. Ningxi put the ginger soup on the table and knocked on the bathroom door. "Lu Tingxiao, are you done?" "Yes." Lu Tingxiao's voice came from inside. A moment later, Lu Tingxiao came out with Xiaobao, who had just finished a hot bath. Xiaobao was wrapped in a big bath towel. His hair was slightly wet and fragrant, and he was held in Papa's arms. Seeing this, Ningxi immediately covered her heart. Lu Tingxiao, I want to hug you, I want to hug you." Xiaobao immediately stretched out his little hands and wanted to be hugged by Mama. Lu Tingxiao gently sent Xiaobao to Ningxi's arms. Ningxi carried the little bun over and kissed the little fellow's rosy cheeks. Then, she fed him the ginger soup. "Baby, this soup tastes a little bad, but can drive away the cold. It's good for your body." Xiaobao did not resist at all and drank it all in one breath. Ningxi happily applauded and praised. "Baby, you're great. It tastes bad, but you drank it all." After Xiaobao finished his bath, drank the ginger soup, and changed his clothes, he had recovered most of his energy. Ningxi looked at the time. "Lu Tingxiao, take Xiaobao to the front to entertain the guests." "Okay." Lu Tingxiao nodded and did not ask any more about Ningxi's decision to let Xiaobao stay. Hearing this, Xiaobao's little face immediately showed some nervousness. Ningxi smiled and rubbed his little head. "Don't worry, you go down with Papa first. Mama will come to find you soon after changing clothes." Xiaobao's slightly uneasy eyes immediately calmed down. He nodded obediently and let Papa hold his little hand. After comforting little Bun, She looked at her fingers and looked at Lu Tingxiao hesitantly. That, Mr. Boss, let me tell you in advance. Later, I might have to do something that might offend someone, Lu Tingxiao. Yeah, I'm here. Shi. Why does the great Demon King give me a sense of deja vu? But what if she became even more charming? This feeling of having someone to support you, even if you pierce through the sky, isn't it too good? Hey, why didn't I see President Lu tonight? I haven't seen him for a long time. Maybe he hasn't arrived yet. In the banquet hall, Lu Tingxiao was still nowhere to be seen. Many people started to ask him why he was not here. After all, it was his father's 60th birthday, and Lu Tingxiao was the current leader of the Lu family. It was unreasonable for him to not show up. At the same time, everyone was even more certain of their previous guesses. Sure enough, something must have happened to that little prince. A trace of worry lingered between Lu Chongshan's brows as he listened to the people around him asking questions one after another. He did not know how Xiao Bao was doing. Ting Xiao, Lu Chongshan was just about to find an excuse to explain to the crowd, but before he could say anything, he suddenly saw two familiar figures, one big and one small, at the door. Immediately, some sharp-eyed people also noticed it and couldn't help but exclaim, President Lu is here. The child beside President Lu is... In an instant, everyone in the hall looked in the direction of the door. Chapter 844. Lu Tingxiao was dressed in a black suit with a tie in front of his chest as the only bright color. His face was expressionless, and he was as cold and distant as ever. And at this moment, this cold and aloof man was actually holding the hand of a little boy who did not match his cold and indifferent feeling at all. The child was about 5 or 6 years old and looked like a boy who had walked out of a portrait of Guanyin. He had fair skin and big eyes. He was wearing the same vintage British suit as Lu Tingxiao and looked like a young gentleman from the Middle Ages. Most importantly, although the child's facial features were young and adorable, one could tell at a glance that he and his father beside him seemed to have been carved from the same appearance. Especially that 30% cold, 70% arrogant little expression. It was simply like a god's will. Needless to say, one could tell who he was just by looking at his little face. He was definitely the legendary little prince of the Lu family. In the face of such a big banquet scene and the burning gazes of so many people, the little boy's expression did not change at all. He followed his father calmly and had an amazing aura at such a young age. He was indeed a child who was nurtured by the Lu family's environment. For a moment, this thought flashed through everyone's mind. But it was strange. Wasn't it rumored that the young master of the Lu family was silly and hid at home all day? How'd he look like a silly child? When Lu Tingxiao had already walked down the stairs with Xiao Bao, the crowd finally recovered from the shock and almost flocked to surround the father and son enthusiastically. Oh, this is Qingyu, right? He's already so big. I remember the last time we met was 5 years ago at the little boy's 1-month birthday party. Time flies. Qingyu, do you still remember me? When you came to play at my house when you were 3 years old, I even carried you. Many of the elderly guests who were at the level of grandparents sighed. When I saw little Qingyu just now, I thought I saw Ting Xiao. He looks exactly like Ting Xiao when he was a child. Isn't that right? Xiao Cici, the clothes you wanted are ready. I spent a lot of effort to borrow them from Xiaorong and was almost suspected of being a pervert. Lu Jingli held a made costume in his hand and looked sad. She hurriedly ran over to take the clothes and looked at them with satisfaction. That's great. You've worked hard. Little Cici, you're not really going to wear this thing, are you? Although I think your uniform is very tempting, my brother will probably like it. But on such an occasion today, you really don't want to think about killing Guan Ziyao in a flash? I can immediately get you a full set of outfits and a professional stylist. Lu Jingli's eyes lit up. She glanced at Lu Jingli, who was even more excited than she was. No need, thank you. It's more convenient for me to show off in this outfit. With that, his eyes flickered and he said faintly, Tonight is not my home field. Lu Jingli was confused. Huh? Then whose? You'll know soon enough. Back off quickly. This empress is going to change. Cha! Lu Jingli swiftly rolled away. Oh, he suddenly looked forward to his brother seeing little Cece in a maid costume. He had personally designed and selected the materials for all the servants' uniforms in the Lu family, especially the maid uniform, which he had spent a lot of effort on. Chapter 845. Within the banquet hall, practically all the guests present were extremely interested in Xiao Bao. Moreover, when they saw that the little fellow was extremely cute like a white and soft little bun, and even his solemn expression was extremely cute, they couldn't help but move closer to tease him. Even if the child was scared out of his mind, he was undoubtedly a lovable child. Looking at the people around him talking and Xiaoxi's mama not coming, Xiao Bao's face gradually showed a bit of impatience, and his little hand, which was originally held by Lu Tingxiao, also wanted to break free from his control. He didn't want to stay here. Lu Tingxiao, who was entertaining the guests, noticed the little guy's mood, looked down at his son, and said in a low voice, "Wait a minute." Xiao Bao blinked his eyes and could only continue to entertain with Papa unhappily. Xiao Bao had been in a bad mood and didn't say a word from beginning to end, which became more and more obvious. Some attentive guests naturally noticed and asked with concern, "Boss Lu, why does little Qingyu look not very well tonight? Is he not feeling well? If he is not feeling well, let the child go to rest first. Don't force yourself." Guan Rue also advised. Yes, health matters. Amidst the sympathetic gazes and comforting voices that expressed understanding, the girl's clear and melodious voice that sounded like a silver bell suddenly came. "Young master, I'm coming." At the door, a little girl in a maid's uniform was trotting all the way in their direction. The girl's hair was tied in 2 ponytails, her eyes were clear and bright, and her little face was white and rosy. She looked very young and stood in front of Lu Tingxiao, panting with a very respectful look. "Young master?" Lu Tingxiao coughed lightly and finally recovered from the unexpected temptation of his wife's uniform. Lu Tingxiao handed his son to Ning Shi, who was about to run out like a runaway pony after seeing Ning Shi, and said calmly, "Well, take the young master to eat something." "Yes, young master." "Young master, come with me." Ning Shi bent down, reached out to Xiao Bao, and secretly winked at him. Little Baozi raised his little head and looked at Mama, his eyes sparkling with surprise. He revealed a big smile, then happily handed his little hand to Mama and obediently followed Mama to the food area. Watching Ning Shi and Xiao Bao leave happily, Lu Tingxiao stood on the spot, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. He didn't expect that she would choose to accompany Xiao Bao in this way. However, it was indeed something that she could do. Oh, no wonder Xiao Bao has been depressed tonight. He's hungry. Kids are still growing. They can't go hungry. Lu Chongshan, who had been tense all this while, finally heaved a sigh of relief. He smiled and said, "My child is too boring and doesn't like to talk." He had thought that Ning Shi would definitely take advantage of tonight to dress glamorously and even stick to Ting Xiao's side to declare her identity as his girlfriend. He never imagined that she would actually use this identity to accompany Xiao Bao. He couldn't help but feel a little surprised. "Ha! He's just like Ting Xiao when he was young." Lu Chongshan laughed. "It's not the same. Ting Xiao was much more boring than Qingyu back then." Everyone couldn't help but laugh. Some old friends talked about the interesting things that happened between Lu Tingxiao and Lu Jingli when they were young, and the atmosphere became warm again. So it was hereditary. Suddenly, the reason for Xiao Bao's cold personality was also explained. It wasn't so abrupt anymore. Chapter 846. In a secluded corner of the banquet hall. "What did you say? That little maid is Ting Xiao's girlfriend?" "Yes, but I don't know why she showed up dressed like this." Guan Ziao looked vigilant. She felt that the woman was not as simple as she looked. Guan Rue said contemptuously, "Do you have to ask?" Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui don't acknowledge her. How dare she show up with Ting Xiao in public? She can only pretend to be a servant. Xiao, you don't have to waste your time on such a character. You should focus on. Guan Rui was talking to his daughter when Lu Tingxiao suddenly came over. Uncle Guan, it's my father's birthday tonight. Thank you for coming. Guan Rui was very happy to see Lu Tingxiao come over to greet him alone. He said with a smile, Tingxiao, you're too polite. I'm your father's friend, and I don't need to be polite. After a few words of greeting, Lu Tingxiao suddenly waved at someone not far away. Ningxi was eating with Xiao Bao when she saw Lu Tingxiao waving at her. She was a little suspicious, so she said something to the little bun and ran over. Young master, what can I do for you? Guan Rui and Guan Diao also looked at Lu Tingxiao suspiciously, wondering why he called this woman over. Did he want her to pour wine and fetch food? Lu Tingxiao took a gentle look at the girl beside him and then looked at Guan Rui, introducing, Uncle Guan, this is my girlfriend, Ningxi. Xiaoxi, this is Uncle Guan, my father's best friend. You don't need to pretend in front of him. Alas, what did the devil want to do? Why did he introduce her to Guan Rui? Was he trying to piss Guan Rui and Guan Xiao off on purpose? Well, okay, maybe he was doing it on purpose. Ning, she was a little surprised. Then she followed Lu Tingxiao's words and greeted him obediently. Hello, Uncle Guan. Okay. Guan Rui's face darkened at once. What did Lu Tingxiao mean? He knew that the Lu family and the Guan family wanted to unite by marriage, but he still deliberately introduced this woman to him. However, even though he was so angry that he almost vomited blood, he couldn't say a word. After all, Lu Tingxiao's behavior was polite. Go and play with Xiao Bao. After saying goodbye, Lu Tingxiao let Ningxi go back. Then, as if he didn't notice the look on Guan Rui and Guan Xiao's faces, Lu Tingxiao continued unhurriedly. Uncle Guan, I'm sorry. Although I want to introduce her to everyone, Xiaoxi attaches great importance to her work. Because of her profession, we can't make it public for the time being. As a man, I can only feel wronged. Yes, there's nothing we can do about it. Guan Rui was so angry that his fingers were trembling as he held the wine glass, but he still had to act like an elder. Guan Xiao's composure was slightly weaker, and her face had already turned pale. In the end, Guan Rui took a deep breath and regained his composure. He raised his wine glass and put on a fake smile. Ting Xiao, as an elder, I can't help but remind you that with this girl's lowly background, I'm afraid she's not worthy of you. I'm afraid your parents will never agree to it, right? You know, nowadays, young girls, especially in that circle, all come for money. It's okay for them to play, but if they take it seriously, it's too inappropriate. Lu Tingxiao took an inscrutable look at Guan Rui and said indifferently, Thank you for your concern. In terms of status, I'm not worthy of her. It's me who's not worthy of Xiaoxi. Chapter 847. After saying this, Lu Tingxiao nodded and took his leave. Guan Rui and Guan Diao stood rooted to the ground and looked at each other. Lu Tingxiao, what did he mean? What did Lu Tingxiao mean by that? Isn't this woman the adopted daughter who was kicked out of the Ning family? Guan Rui frowned. I don't think she's an adopted daughter. Guan Xiao muttered. Guan Rui snorted. I thought she was someone important. Even if she's the Ning family's biological daughter, she can't even compare to a finger of yours. But from what Ting Xiao said, this woman seems to have another identity. Guan Rui thought about it and said, I'll look into it later. You don't have to worry about it. That kid is still young and impetuous. He probably doesn't want to listen to his family's arrangements, so he purposely used this to annoy me. How many families in the entire capital city were not worthy of the Lu family? The number of fingers on one hand could be counted. Not a single one of them can be related to someone like Ningxi. The banquet continued, and the atmosphere was warm and harmonious. That night, most people had their eyes on the young master of the Lu family, who rarely showed up. Some people even hoped that the kid would embarrass himself tonight out of jealousy. Unfortunately, they were disappointed. Ever since Xiao Bao was brought over by Ningxi, he had been obedient and no different from a normal child. It seemed that his condition had stabilized after 2 years of treatment. Otherwise, the Liu family wouldn't have dared to let him show up. Other than the young master of the Liu family, the focus of the night was the genius from the Guan family who had recently returned to the capital. A top student was indeed a top student. He didn't forget to study even when he was attending a banquet. He heard that there were many powerful people tonight, so he brought along a few math problems that he couldn't solve for many days. Many guests were interested and gathered around him, eager to try. Oh my God, are these math problems in middle school? That's sick. The students nowadays are so pitiful. Ha ha. Imo Ling Tian, you're such a bad student. You can't even understand the questions. This is a university course, and it's a competition question. A rich man mocked him mercilessly. Imo Ling Tian's mouth twitched. Okay. It's not that the questions are sick, it's that the little genius from the Guan family is too sick. I think I made one. Is the answer to the first question -9? A bespectacled teenager came over and asked excitedly. Guan Jichin kept a straight face and shook his head. No, the answer to this question is 0. It's not right again. The youngster looked disappointed. I've already thought of the solution for this question. I can teach you, but I still can't solve the second question. Old Guan, this grandson of yours is really incredible. Not far away, a few guests looked at the lively children over there, and all of them had an envious expression on their faces. Lu Chongshan also praised, like father, like son. Guan Rue said helplessly, he's almost becoming a bookworm. I'm having a headache too. Originally, we purposely brought him out to relax. Who knew that when Ziyao and I weren't paying attention, he would run off to do questions again? Sigh, old Guan, your words are so annoying. That brat of mine would rather be beaten up 3 times a day than read for even a minute. How can your son compare to old Guan's? His IQ is 180, and he won an international mathematics prize when he was only 10 years old. Chapter 848. He's impressive indeed. I think he's even better than Ting Xiao back then. The new generation really excels the old. A guest who was on good terms with the Guan family exclaimed. As the host, Lu Chongshan had been complimenting Guan Rue along with everyone else. After all, they were going to be family in the future. But when he heard this, he sneered inwardly. Even better than Ting Xiao when he was young? Wasn't he afraid of biting his own tongue? Lu Chongshan was disdainful, but he didn't show it on his face. Of course he's better than Ting Xiao. Guan Rue waved his hands with a smile. So I stopped praising him. He's getting more and more ridiculous. How can he compare to Ting Xiao? If he can be half as capable as his uncle Xiao, I'll wake up laughing in my dreams. Chairman Guan, you're too modest. If this kid continues to develop like this, he'll definitely have a bright future. I'm not trying to be sarcastic, but for a family like ours, the most important thing isn't how much money we earn or how big the family business is. The most important thing is our people. Only when our children and grandchildren are capable will the family business prosper. If our children and grandchildren are not capable, then no matter how big the family business is, it won't be able to withstand a few generations of failure. That's right. That's the logic. So old Guan is really blessed. Whether it's Ziao, Zaheo, or Jichin, they're all so outstanding. He doesn't need to worry about them. Isn't that right? Unlike us, we're already so old, and we still have to worry about those few brats at home. This guest's words were immediately echoed by everyone. At the same time, everyone couldn't help but think of the Liu family's lack of children. Their only grandson's condition was still worrying. So what if they were the wealthiest family in the capital? No matter how capable Lu Tingxiao was, he could only last 1 or 2 generations at most. Over at the Liu family side, there were a few powerful side branches and the elders of the company. They were all eyeing Lu Tingxiao like tigers watching their prey. If Lu Tingxiao didn't have a successor who could control the situation, then this huge family would fall into chaos. It could even collapse overnight. There were many examples like this. No one could predict how the power structure and power would be reorganized in the future. somewhere in the banquet hall, Ning watched a group of people flattering the Guan family. She knew her chance had come. Mo Lingtian and the other childs were all stumped by the 13-year-old Guan Zhichen's math problem and were despised by their parents. They couldn't help but feel ashamed. In the end, Mo Lingtian had no choice but to helplessly spread his hands and said, "Zhichun, we are all bad students. Even if some of us studied well at that time, we have all forgotten it after so many years. Why don't you ask your aunt? She definitely knows it." Guan Zhichen glanced at Guan Ziao and mumbled unwillingly. My aunt said she had explained this question to me, but I still couldn't solve it. She was angry with me and refused to teach me. I see. Mo Lingtian was helpless. Then he suddenly thought of something and slapped his head. I remember now. Your Uncle Xiao definitely knows how. Where's Lu Tingxiao? Guan Ziao glanced at Mo Lingtian and said disapprovingly, Tingxiao is so busy. Don't bother him. Zhichen really shouldn't be unable to solve this question. Let him think about it himself. Ziao, you're too strict. How old is Zhichun? Mo Lingtian said helplessly. Chapter 849. As for the other guests, they couldn't help but feel awe and admiration for the Guan family's way of education. This is the real elite education of a wealthy family. He is so strict with his only grandson. He is not arrogant at all. No wonder he is so excellent. Hey, old Guan, how do you educate your children? Let's learn from you. When the guests were discussing with Guan Rue about child rearing, a girl's clear voice suddenly came from the crowd. Child Mo, I heard that you are looking for our first young master. What's the matter? He went out to greet the guests. If it's urgent, I can tell him for you. Oh, it's nothing urgent. It's just a math problem. Ahem. You, little white rabbit. Why are you here? Mo Lingtian lowered his voice as if he had seen a ghost when he saw the little maid who was talking to him. He almost didn't recognize this lass after she changed into such a disguise. She ignored Mo Lingtian's question and continued to act like a conscientious little maid. She glanced at the exercise in Mo Lingtian's hand and said, "This question looks quite easy. I don't think we need to call first young master. I'll ask first young master to help us. Is that okay?" What? Mo Lingtian looked as if he had heard it wrong. Who did you say? Xiaobao. She nodded obediently. Yes, young Master Qingyu. Mo Lingtian didn't have time to ask why she was dressed like this. He kindly reminded her, "Little girl, look carefully. Well, you probably can't understand it. Anyway, this is not a kindergarten math problem. It's advanced math, and it's a competition question. Child Mo, don't worry. First young master is very good." She blinked and then looked down at Xiaobao beside her. First young master, this little brother doesn't know how to solve a question. He looks worried. Can you help him? Xiaobao nodded. As soon as she appeared, Lu Chongshan frowned. After knowing what she was going to do, he felt that it was absurd. Suppressing his anger, he hurriedly stopped her. It's none of your business. Don't disturb the guests here. Take the young master somewhere else to play. Quickly go down. Seeing the maid's almost brainless behavior, the other guests looked at Lu Chongshan sympathetically. Most of them were gloating as though it had nothing to do with them. Why did the Lu family find such a muddle-headed servant to take care of the little prince? Was it because fools were easier to communicate with fools? Guan Rue and Guan Ziao secretly looked at each other. Originally, they were quite afraid of this woman, but now they didn't care about her at all. Guan Zhichen immediately felt insulted when he saw that the little maid of the Lu family actually called a child to help him and insisted that he was very capable and would definitely be able to do it. After all, he was still young and impatient, so he handed the book over in annoyance. You said that he can help me? All right, then let him try it. Guan Ziao tried to smooth things over. Zhichen, don't make a fuss. Qingyu is only 5 years old. I made a fool of myself. Lu Chongshan had never felt so humiliated before. It's okay. It's just a little girl who didn't read the question clearly. Guan Rue said generously. Oh, This woman probably did this to please Lu Xianxia. But it turned out that a low-level girl who couldn't even understand the question still wanted to do this job. She was so stupid. However, just then, there were a few scattered exclamations in the crowd. Chapter 850. While everyone was talking, Xiao Bao wrote down a number on the exercise book that she handed over. Qingyu wrote a 0. What's the correct answer? I remember it's 0, right? That's right. It's 0. Qingyu got it right. Guan Rue, Guan Ziao, Guan Jichen, and even Lu Chongshan were shocked. Guan Jichen frowned. Little brother Qingyu, can't you just tell me not to scribble on the exercise book? Guan Jichen didn't think it was a 0 at all. As for the others, including Lu Chongshan, they also thought that Xiao Bao probably wrote it casually. She looked at the answer on the exercise book and bent down. She said gently to Xiao Bao, "Little young master, you can't do this. This little brother doesn't know how to solve this problem. You should write down the steps to solve the problem in detail. Only then can you help little brother." Xiao Bao blinked his eyes, glanced at Mama, and then very cooperatively buried his little head and began to scribble. As Xiao Bao wrote more and more on the exercise book, the expressions of those who were originally waiting to watch a good show changed from attentiveness to surprise, from surprise to shock, and finally to horror. Some people even couldn't help but push to the front with their eyes wide open, stretching their necks to watch. Especially Imo Lingtian. His eyes widened so much that his eyeballs were almost glued to the exercise book. What the fuck? Is Xiao Bao possessed by Archimedes? Guan Ziao glanced at Xiao Bao from the corner of her eyes. She opened her mouth and wanted to say something several times, but couldn't. She didn't dare to disturb Xiao Bao. For a moment, everyone's eyes were focused on the little figure in the middle. The air was so quiet that a pin drop could be heard. Xiao Bao's expression was one of complete concentration. He was completely immersed in his own world and wasn't disturbed by those gazes in the slightest. The pen in his little hand was like a flower as he wrote out string after string of complicated formulas. After a while, Xiao Bao finally finished writing and put down the answer, 0. He then raised his head and looked at Mama. She gave little Bun a praising look, then bent over to take the book from Xiao Bao and handed it to Guan Jichen with a smile. "Young Master Guan, can you understand it this time?" In the blank space of the book, Xiao Bao clearly wrote a series of detailed steps to solve the problem. Because Aunt Xiaoxi specially told him to write in detail, he even pointed out a few places with arrows and wrote supplementary statements in brackets. He was teaching Guan Jichen as a kindergartner. Soon, the exercise book was spread around by the guests who couldn't wait to see what was going on. Because Xiao Bao's problem-solving steps were so detailed that even the flunkies could understand it. They praised him on the spot. "Fuck, amazing. Even a trash like me could understand it. I thought that I couldn't even compare to a 13-year-old child, but reality has proven me wrong. I can't even compare to a 5-year-old child. And this problem-solving technique is so brilliant. It shouldn't be a conventional method, right? Miss Guan, what do you think? Is this problem solved correctly?" Guan Ziao looked at the exercise book and then at the cute little fellow in Ningxi's hand. She was so surprised that she said with some difficulty, "Completely correct. And every step is very rigorous and perfect without the slightest flaw." Chapter 851. She could almost see Lu Tingxiao from back then. The father and son's problem-solving style was exactly the same, but Xiao Bao was only 5 years old this year. This was just too shocking. Guan Ziao's words caused an uproar. What the hell? This little guy really did it? Not only that, he even received such high praise from Guan Ziao. This was simply unbelievable. But they had all seen Xiao Bao write down the steps of solving the problem with their own eyes. They had no choice but to believe it. Compared to Guan Rue's clearly planned act of bringing his grandson to show his face in a high society setting, Xiao Bao's completely unintentional display of skill clearly brought about a greater shock to the crowd. Immediately, everyone surrounded Lu Chongshan, Wow, old Lu. So you're the one who's been hiding the most. No wonder you've been hiding it from us all the time. This grandson of yours is simply a little prodigy. The genes of the Lu family are too powerful. He's a genius. He's not just a genius anymore, okay? He's almost nature-defying. I was still playing in the mud when I was 5 years old. At this very moment, Lu Qiangshan was truly unable to describe his current feelings as he listened to the unceasing torrent of praises. It was as if he had finally vented out all the anger that he had suppressed for a long time. Sigh, you've really wronged me. I really didn't know about this. This kid probably learned it from reading books. Qingyu's personality is just like his father's when he was young. He has his own ideas. It's not that I don't want to interfere, it's that I can't. I can only let him be. Lu Qiangshan had a helpless expression on his face. You don't need to care about this. He's completely self-taught. This is the truth of the saying, geniuses are all different, as expected of the Lu family. If it weren't for that little maid being ignorant and blurting it out, who would know that this kid is actually so good? Haven't you heard that being low-key is the best way to show off? Today, there's actually someone who dares to say that Guan Zhichen is more talented than Lu Tingxiao. He can't even compare to his 5-year-old son. On the other side, the female customers were even more excited. Their eyes were almost shining as they stared at little Bon. Oh my god, Lu Tingxiao's genes are too good. I really want to steal his seed. Aya, you're so dirty. How am I dirty? Do you dare to say you don't want to? So what if you stole it? Can you guarantee that you won't drag down the child's IQ? Speaking of which, I'm even more curious about this child's mother. Her genes must be pretty good. As soon as Lu Jingli entered the room, he saw this scene. Ningxi calmly took control of the situation and reversed the situation. He was amazed. What the hell? Brother Shi's acting skills are superb. Acting like I'm the good guy. You've slapped the Guan family's face swollen. He finally knew why she had a dress like this to hide beside Xiaobao tonight. He finally knew whose home field it was tonight. Little Cici was determined to help Xiaobao get back at him. Lu Tingxiao, on the other hand, looked calm and collected. He had an expression that said, "Of course my wife is amazing." Lu Jingli suddenly thought of this question and muttered suspiciously, "Little Cici, what if Xiaobao doesn't know how to do it?" Lu Tingxiao glanced at him and then said expressionlessly, "Will my son be so useless?" Lu Jingli, fuck. The lovey-dovey maniac now had another lovey-dovey son. He couldn't go on like this. Chapter 852. After torturing Guan Zhichen, Ningxi finally felt a little better. Guan Zhichen, the genius boy, was not satisfied after being taught a lesson by Xiaobao. He found several more so-called, more difficult questions to test Xiaobao. Finally, he was taught a lesson by Xiaobao again. In the end, those who had surrounded Guan Zhichen all squeezed to Xiaobao's side, and some even tried to touch the genius to gain some pride, which made Ningxi speechless. What was rare was that little steam bun was very patient. Even though he was surrounded by so many people chattering away, he didn't show the slightest bit of impatience. His little face was still as calm as the wind. At such a young age, he had an unfathomable appearance, which amused everyone even more. As long as his little hand was held by Mama, there was only Mama in his eyes. It didn't matter to him how noisy others were. I didn't expect Xiaobao to be so awesome. It said that boys who are good at math are the most attractive. It turns out that boys are also the same. It's so cool. I really want to rub his little face. He's so charming when he keeps a straight face and doesn't speak. Xiaobao had gained a large number of sister fans, and even several of them clamored to be his godmother. There were even countless of them who wanted to be his godmother. For a moment, Guan Zhichen was completely ignored. Seeing that the praise and halo that should have belonged to him were all taken away by this child, the teenager's face became more and more gloomy. Just as everyone was surrounding little Bon, he suddenly opened his mouth and said faintly, "I read that autistic children often have some special abilities that are different from ordinary people." It turns out that it's true. Guan Zhichen's voice wasn't low, so basically everyone present heard what he said. All of a sudden, The warm atmosphere became extremely cold, and everyone had an awkward look on their faces. Hearing Guan Zhichen's words, Ningxi's pupils shrank, while Lu Chongshan felt as if he had been slapped heavily in the face. His gratified expression froze on his face. But this child was Guan Rui's most precious grandson. Even if he was furious at this moment, he couldn't lose his temper. Guan Rui and Guan Xiao also changed their faces in an instant. Guan Xiao hurriedly ran over, pulled Guan Zhichen over, and said sternly, Zhichen, what nonsense are you talking about? Guan Rui's expression was also unusually serious. Zhichen, hurry up and apologize to your brother. Where did you hear all this nonsense from? It was fine as long as everyone had a tacit understanding about this matter. Telling Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui in private was a sign of concern. However, if they were to bring it up in public, it would be obvious that they were purposely trying to humiliate the Lu clan. Moreover, this matter was Lu Chongshan's reverse scale. Guan Zhichen had never been so humiliated, nor had he been scolded in public by his grandfather and aunt. His face was full of indignation. That was what was written in the book. This little boy had autism to begin with. What did he say wrong? Guan Zhichen continued to speak loudly. I'm not talking nonsense. He has autism. Otherwise, why would he not speak? Why is it always this servant who helps him pass on the message? Guan Zhichen lost control of his emotions, and the scene was extremely awkward. Everyone looked at each other and didn't even know what to say to smooth things over. No one had expected things to develop to this point. Guan Zhichen had actually revealed the Lu clan's most secretive and shameful matter on such an occasion. Chapter 853. Pan. Guan Rui gave Guan Zhichen a heavy slap. Shut up. I told you to apologize to your brother. Did you hear me? It's fine if others gossip in private, but how could you believe them so easily? Your brother Qingyu is perfectly fine. How does he look sick? No matter how much he cared about his grandson, he had to say something in order to save the situation. At the same time, an undetectable glint flashed across Guan Rui's eyes. Although Lu Chongshan was a little unhappy with the way things had turned out today, Lu Qingyu could be said to be completely crippled in front of everyone. He had effortlessly helped Zi Yao get rid of a successor. However, Ji Chun had to suffer a little. Guan Zhichen didn't come back to his senses for a long time. His face was full of disbelief. Grandpa, you hit me. Although Guan Rui always looked very strict to him in front of outsiders, he was actually very obedient to him at home. This was the first time he had hit him since he was a child. And it was because of this damn mute. Since Guan Rui had already done this, as an elder, Lu Chongshan naturally couldn't be calculated with a child. It would seem ungentlemanly. His fingers that were holding the walking stick trembled slightly. He said in a low voice, "Forget it. Ji Chun is young. It's fine. But this kind of words is too hurtful. Ji Chun, you really should apologize to our Xiaobao." Yin Ryu looked at her precious grandson, whose hand was held tightly by Ningxi. She was full of regret. If she had known this would happen, she wouldn't have let Xiaobao appear tonight. She overestimated the existence of this woman and forgot that there were countless uncertain factors. If she had known this earlier, she would rather hide Xiaobao at home and not see anyone for the rest of his life. She wouldn't want him to suffer these injuries. At most, she would raise Xiaobao for the rest of his life. Guan Xiao knew that Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui wouldn't be calculative on the surface, but they would definitely be very unhappy in private. She hurriedly persuaded, Ji Chun, listen to me and apologize to Brother Qingyu. You really made a mistake on this matter. Ahem, yes, Qingyu is your brother. You should love and protect your brother. Mo Lingtian also said, Fuck you, Guan Zhichen. What a shitty child. I'm also a child. Damn it, I'm gonna beat him up. That old bastard Guan Rui definitely did it on purpose. Lu Jingli couldn't take it anymore. He rolled up his sleeves and was about to rush forward when Lu Tingxiao grabbed his wrist. Brother, what are you doing? Your son and my nephew have been bullied to this extent. Lu Jingli was extremely agitated. Lu Tingxiao's eyes were like a deep pool, quietly looking in the direction of Little Bao and Ning Shi, not the slightest expression on his face. Guan Jichen couldn't stand that everyone was speaking up for the little mute. She was so agitated that she broke free from Guan Ziyao, who was holding her, and shouted, "He's autistic, sick, and mute. If not, then why didn't he say anything? If he can talk to me, I will apologize to him. Otherwise, I absolutely won't accept it. I wasn't wrong." Guan Jichen kept forcing Xiao Bao to talk to him. His crazed voice reverberated throughout the hall. After a long time, Guan Rui had already achieved the effect he wanted. He knew that he couldn't go overboard. Just as he was about to send Guan Jichen home, in the silent air, an apathetic and childish voice slowly rang out. "You're not worthy." That voice was abnormally raw and immature, slightly hoarse and even childish, but it was like a sudden clap of thunder exploding in everyone's ears. Chapter 854. He spoke. In an instant, everyone present was stunned. Guan Ziyao's face was full of surprise. Guan Jichen, who was still yelling just now, suddenly fell silent as if his throat was choked. He actually spoke, this little mute. He actually said that he didn't deserve to speak. The confident expression on Guan Rui's face was completely shattered in an instant. How was that possible? Before he returned to the country, he had already spent a lot of time secretly investigating this child's situation. He confirmed that after the kidnapping incident, this child's condition was very serious, and he hadn't spoken for a whole 2 years with such poor mental endurance. He just heard the contents of Ziyao and Yin Ruyu's conversation and disappeared without a trace. In that kind of situation, just now, not only did he not lose control on the spot, but he actually said those 3 words. In an instant, the situation that was originally a foregone conclusion was suddenly reversed. So handsome. Someone in the crowd let out a cry of surprise. Then this exclamation was like a switch, and the excited discussion at the scene sounded like boiling water. "Oh my God, He was only a 5-year-old toddler. He's so cute, but in that instant just now, he was so domineering, so handsome. I really want to marry him. Why didn't I be born 10 years later?" Sob, sob, sob. Lu Tingxiao is too difficult to conquer. There's definitely no hope. I don't know if the little baby mind dating a younger brother. At this moment, Xiao Bao's little face that was like a glutinous rice ball was tinged with a faint arrogance that was 90% of his father's power. After he finished speaking, he didn't even look at Guan Jichen, who was standing there staring at him with wide eyes. He directly held Ning Shi's hand, walked through the excited crowd, and calmly left. His small back exuded an extremely powerful aura. Oh, wow, Xiao Bao is so handsome. Lu Jingli excitedly hugged his brother next to him. Lu Tingxiao's gaze passed through the crowd and met Ning Shi's for a second, then immediately reached out to push away Lu Jingli's excited face that was almost kissing him. His cold expression subtly softened a little, and his cold expression was like the first spring snow melting. Am I the only one who feels that it's good to vent my anger? That Guan Jichen really went a little too far just now. Even if he really has autism, he shouldn't have deliberately poked at his wounds. He even forced the other party to speak. How could he speak when he was so autistic? Does he get so much pleasure from proving that he's sick? Exactly. What genius youth. What good upbringing. What excellent conduct and learning. Would a child with excellent academic performance be so unforgiving? It was just a question that had been solved by someone else. Yet he was so embarrassed that he flew into a rage. Who does he think he is? The entire earth revolves around him. Not only is he narrow-minded, but he's also vicious. How could he do this to a 5-year-old child? The little crown prince is right. He's not worthy at all. Not bad, not bad. Fortunately, the rumors were just rumors. Not only was the crown prince fine, but he was also a peerless genius. His IQ and EQ are way ahead of him. Many people couldn't bear the sight of Guan Jichen's behavior just now, especially those who saw such a cute child like Xiao Bao being bullied Their motherly love instantly overflowed, and they criticized Guan Zhichen's character one after another. Chapter 855. Guan Rui had planned to take this opportunity to destroy Xiaobao. However, he did not expect to go for wool and come home shorn. Not only did it not affect Xiaobao at all, but also caused Guan Zhichen to be hated by others. Guan Rui came back to his senses in time. He looked at Lu Chongshan with a troubled expression and said earnestly, "Brother Lu, I'm really sorry about this. My Zhichen is still young, and he's too straightforward. Once he set his mind on something, he's stubborn to the end. I've told him so many times, but he just can't change it. His teacher always says that his stubborn personality may be a good thing in academics, but it's a big problem when it comes to interpersonal relationships." After Guan Rui said that, Guan Zhichen's arrogant, immodest, and intolerant personality became insistent and straightforward. Lu Chongshan was still immersed in the great shock and joy of his baby speaking. However, he knew that he could not show too much surprise, or else he would be tacitly admitting that Xiaobao was autistic like everyone else. Hence, he maintained a calm expression. "Haha, Brother Guan, you're too serious. It's also my Qingyu's fault. His personality is exactly like his father's, except that he doesn't like to talk since he was young. We rarely hear him speak at home, so it's no wonder that Zhichen would have this misunderstanding." Lu Chongshan said, "It could be considered as taking this opportunity to clarify the outsider's speculations about Xiaobao, and also to prevent anyone from making a fuss about Xiaobao not speaking in the future." However, Lu Chongshan directly ignored Xiaobao's impolite words of, "You're not worthy." He did not have the slightest intention of apologizing. Very well done. As expected of Lu Chongshan's grandson. "Sai, since it's a misunderstanding, it's good that it's cleared up?" Yes. Some people out there like to make trouble out of nothing. Children are young and lack the ability to distinguish between things. Furthermore, they're innocent, so it's inevitable that they'll make mistakes easily. The slippery guests all began to smooth things over. Guan Zhichen also apologized under Guan Rui's stern warning gaze. Lu Chongshan's original fury had vanished in a thin air because of Xiaobao's earth-shattering words. He was in a good mood and did not want to cause any unpleasantness on such an occasion. Thus, he generously let this matter pass. At the same time, Guan Ziao was holding Yin Rui's arm and explaining guiltily, "Andy, I'm so sorry for what happened today. Although our Ji-chun has always been very strict, he was also spoiled by everyone since he was a child, just like Xiaobao. This was the first time he was beaten since he was born. He was so sad that he said something like that in a moment of excitement. It was really unintentional. Auntie, please don't take it to heart." As Guan Ziao spoke, she called Guan Zhichen, who had tried her best to persuade him, over. Guan Zhichen lowered his head to hide the anger and unwillingness in his eyes. "Grandma Lu, I'm sorry. I know I was wrong. I really didn't do it on purpose." Yin Rui looked at the red handprint on Guan Zhichen's face and sighed. "All right, don't blame yourselves. It's fine now that the misunderstanding has been cleared up. Xiao, take Zhichen to get some ice cubes. Your father was a little too heavy-handed." Hearing that Yin Rui's tone had softened, Guan Ziao was slightly relieved. She nodded and left with Guan Zhichen. Although the Lu family would definitely not pursue this matter on the surface, there would definitely be a knot in their hearts. It seemed that she had to make her father restrain himself during this period of time. Chapter 856. In fact, when her father said that he wanted to bring Zhichen along, she didn't quite agree. After all, with Xiaobao's condition, it was inevitable that he wanted to show off by bringing Zhichen along. However, her father said that they needed a chance to show off since they had just returned to the capital after such a long time. Moreover, she could show off the Guan family's genes in front of the Lu family, which would benefit her in the future. That was why she agreed. Initially, they thought that Xiaobao wouldn't show up today. Even if he did, he would only show his face. Who knew? Things would get out of their control. What went wrong? That woman's face flashed across Guan Ziyao's mind. From dressing up as a maid to staying at the birthday banquet to pretending to bring Xiaobao here to solve a problem. She wasn't stupid. She clearly had a plan. She had a plan to embarrass them. She and her father had underestimated the enemy and made the wrong assumption. Guan Rui naturally thought of this as well. The father and daughter looked at each other, and for a moment, they both tensed up, not daring to let their guard down. Who knew what that woman would do tonight? Xiaobao recovered so quickly. Was it all because of that woman? Guan Ziao murmured with a frown. Guan Rui's face darkened. That woman went to a diploma mill in China. I don't know what she did to get into USC. However, when he was at USC, he only majored in acting, which was not a popular major. How could she treat a child that even a psychologist like Qin Mufeng couldn't do anything about? Look at that child's temperament and tone of voice. Which part of him looks sick? Although he didn't want to admit it, he had to admit that this child was much better than Ji Chun. In time, he would definitely surpass his father, Lu Tingxiao. No wonder Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui doted on such a good seedling. The worst thing was that the Lu family felt guilty towards the Guan family because Lu Tingxiao had a son and a girlfriend. The Guan family had always been in a dominant position. Now that the situation was reversed, he had to keep his tail between his legs and curry favor with the Lu family for a long time to come. As for that child, he could only think about it at length. As the birthday banquet came to an end, the guests presented their gifts one after another. Guan Rui heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the gift he prepared this time was heavy enough. Brother Lu, I know you like calligraphy and paintings. I accidentally discovered this cursive calligraphy of Wang Shiji when I was overseas. When I saw it, I immediately thought of you, so I spent a lot of effort to get it. You'll definitely like it. Guan Rui said confidently. Lu Chongshan was a master of calligraphy and painting. He was very accomplished in both calligraphy and painting. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that he was obsessed with it. This painting was definitely sent to the bottom of his heart. As expected, Lu Chongshan received it carefully and looked at it repeatedly before revealing an astounded expression. Brother Guan, your gift is too precious. Lu Chongshan couldn't be blamed for his exclamation. These were all priceless items in the market, and many of them had ended up in foreign countries. To be able to obtain them, other than power and wealth, luck was also very important. Being able to encounter one was something that could only be chanced upon. Guan Rui smiled carelessly and said, Brother Lu, you're too polite. With our relationship, there's no need to say that. Money can't buy a good heart. Besides, this thing isn't that expensive. I was just lucky to find it. Chapter 857. Just as Guan Rui expected, the crowd exclaimed in surprise when they saw the priceless ancient calligraphy. Are you kidding? That's not expensive. Isn't this the calligraphy that was auctioned for 150 million in Zurich? Looks like the Guan family is doing well in the foreign market. It's not just doing well. Didn't you see how close Guan Ziao is to Yin Rui? I think they're going to join forces. It couldn't be, right? Didn't I hear that Lu Chongshan wants to marry into the Zhuang family? The Zhuang family has always married into a military family, right? No matter how big the Lu family is, they're still businessmen. I don't think it's possible. Seeing that Guan Rui had given such an expensive gift, Lu Chongshan's expression softened a little. Of course, what he was looking forward to the most was Xiao Bao's gift. Xiao Bao, didn't you say you have a gift for Grandpa? What is it? Lu Chongshan asked nervously and expectantly. Xiao Bao raised his head and looked at Papa and Mama beside him. Lu Tingxiao gave a look to the servant, and soon a servant walked up with 2 rolls of rice paper, ink, and paper. For a moment, everyone looked over with interest. It seemed that the little prince wanted to write a piece of calligraphy for his grandfather. Although filial piety was hard to come by, this birthday gift seemed a little too ordinary in comparison to the exorbitant price of Guan Rui's calligraphy. Ningxi helped Xiao Bao grind the ink quietly, while Lu Tingxiao and Lu Jingli each opened a roll of rice paper and stood in front of Xiao Bao. At this time, people gradually noticed that the little maid had prepared 2 writing brushes. Could it be a backup? Then, Xiao Bao used his 2 short hands to pick up a writing brush. He looked at the rice paper in front of him and calmed himself down. Then, the writing brushes in his hands landed on the rice paper on both sides at the same time. What was he doing? Everyone looked at each other, their faces full of suspicion. In the end, Xiao Bao started writing with both hands at the same time. His left hand wrote, "Fortune is like the East Sea," and his right hand wrote, "Longevity is like the South Mountain." After they saw clearly what little Bao was doing, a wave of gasps rose and fell in the surroundings. He can actually do 2 things at once. And it's written so well. A 5-year-old child actually managed to write the bone-penetrating force. Have you all forgotten that Lu Qiangshan is a calligraphy master himself? My grandson won't be too bad. Oh my God, I'm so shocked that I'm numb. This child is blessed by the heavens, gathering all the essence of the Lu family. Xiao Bao's calligraphy was personally taught by Lu Qiangshan. However, he only knew that Xiao Bao's calligraphy was pretty good, but it was the first time he knew that Xiao Bao had the ability to multitask. What was even more shocking was that Xiao Bao's wrist did not have much strength in the past. Even if the words he wrote looked good, a slightly professional person would be able to tell that it had form but no bones and did not have any strength or momentum. However, in just a few short days, little Bao's handwriting had actually become so bold and forceful, and it truly shocked him greatly. At the same time, he looked at Ning, she with even more bewilderment in his eyes. Originally, he had been worried that letting Xiao Bao be with this woman would have some negative effects, but he did not expect that not only could Xiao Bao gradually speak, but even his physical fitness had improved so much. He was almost certain that Xiao Bao had undergone systematic training during this period of time. Otherwise, it was absolutely impossible for him to write like this. Chapter 858. Lu Qiangshan was a little worried when he saw that Xiao Bao was going to write for him. Because of his attainments in calligraphy, everyone had high expectations for Xiao Bao. In addition, Xiao Bao had given everyone a high impression of being a genius, so it was inevitable that everyone would be more harsh on him. However, they did not expect that the result would be such a pleasant surprise for him. He was filled with gratification that he had a successor. This surprise was thousands of times stronger than the precious calligraphy that Guan Rui gave him. Good calligraphy! Just as the guests were exclaiming, a powerful voice suddenly came from behind. Everyone looked in the direction of the voice and saw a middle-aged man in a military uniform striding over from the gate. The man was tall and straight with a determined face. It was the general of the Zhuang family, Zhuang Liaoyuan. Chief Zhuang, sorry for not going out to meet you. Sorry. When Lu Qiangshan saw him, he immediately greeted him with a face full of smiles. Chairman Lu, don't mention it. I was busy with the army, so I'm late. Please forgive me. Zhuang Liaoyuan also said politely. Of course it's business. Chief Zhuang, please come in. Zhuang Liaoyuan walked straight to the calligraphy that Xiao Bao had just written. After a closer look, he was full of admiration. This calligraphy was written by your grandson? Yes. It's a birthday gift from my grandson. Lu Qiangshan looked proud. Zhuang Liaoyuan glanced at the little boy beside him and nodded. That's rare. At such a young age, he can write so well. Chairman Lu, this child has learned all your skills. Zhuang Liaoyuan was talking with Lu Qiangshan. When he accidentally saw Ning Shi beside Xiao Bao, he couldn't help but be stunned. Ning Shi also recognized Zhuang Liaoyuan, but it was not appropriate to talk to him in this situation. She could only pretend that she didn't know him and continue to lower her head. Zhuang Liaoyuan also came to his senses and quickly recovered his surprised expression. However, when his eyes fell on Lu Tingxiao, his eyes instantly turned cold. Because of the arrival of Zhuang Liaoyuan, the atmosphere in the banquet hall became lively again. After all, such a prominent red family was the target that many people wanted to make friends with. Most importantly, such a top-notch aristocratic family rarely interacted with other wealthy families. It was only on occasions like Lu Chongshan's birthday banquet that he could show his face. It was a rare opportunity for him to speak. As for Guan Rue, his nerves immediately tensed up. He also knew that the Zhuang family and the Lu family had the intention of getting married, so he wanted to quickly think of a way to test the intentions of their biggest competitor. Deep into the night, the birthday banquet finally came to an end, and the guests left one after another. Xiaobao followed Lu Tingxiao to see the guests off, and Ning she went to the small garden alone to get some fresh air. He was sitting on the swing, holding his chin as he excitedly recalled the domineering and handsome scene of Xiaobao. Suddenly, he noticed that someone seemed to be slowly approaching from behind. Moreover, he could tell from the sound of the footsteps that it was a martial artist. Thus, Ning she stood up with a whoosh and looked behind her warily. In the next second, his vigilance turned into astonishment. It was Zhuang Liaoyuan. Why did he come here? He couldn't possibly be here to look for her, right? That boy treated you like this? Ning she was puzzled. Zhuang Liaoyuan suddenly looked at her and said. When Zhuang Liaoyuan said this, the expression on his face looked very displeased and even a bit cold. Ning she was confused by this sudden question. Chief Zhuang, who are you talking about? Was he talking to her? Chapter 859. Zhuang Liaoyuan's sharp eyes looked up and down at her servant's attire. There was obvious anger in his eyes. Lu Tingxiao, you're his girlfriend. Why do you have to dress like this for his father's birthday party? Ning she froze for a long time before she realized what Zhuang Liaoyuan meant. She hurriedly explained, no, it's not like that. Chief Zhuang, you misunderstood me. It's a long story. Anyway, he didn't ask me to dress like this. He doesn't intend to disclose your relationship. Zhuang Liaoyuan still looked serious. Ning she frowned slightly. This kind of personal question wasn't a bit too much. However, looking at Zhuang Liaoyuan's determined face and his kind eyes, Ning she hesitated for a moment before replying. The main reason is because of my current profession. That's why I can't disclose it to the public. You should know that as an actress, you have to do a lot of things. Zhuang Liaoyuan looked a bit relaxed and then said, I saw your movie. You acted very well. Ning she's eyes widened. What did you watch my movie? Is it The World? Zhuang Liaoyuan nodded. Yes, you played the female general. Very good. It took Ning she a long time to recover from her excitement. She blushed and said gratefully, Thank you. Thank you for your compliment. She had thought that Zhuang Liaoyuan would look down on her after knowing her profession, but to her surprise, he didn't look down on her at all. He even said that he had seen her movie and praised her for her acting. Moreover, his expression was very serious. It didn't seem like he was faking it at all. He really thought so. You didn't use a stunt double in this movie, did you? Zhuang Liaoyuan asked with certainty. Ning she nodded and answered embarrassedly, Yes. I didn't know you were a martial artist, right? Zhuang Liaoyuan asked with interest. When it came to acting, the atmosphere suddenly became relaxed. Ning she's mood also relaxed, and she inadvertently opened the conversation box. No, I just practice. Before I officially became an actress, I was a martial arts stunt double. When I played small roles abroad, I often played similar roles. Abroad, Chinese kung fu is highly respected, so they often need some Eastern roles with good kung fu. It's not easy for a girl to struggle in a foreign country at such a young age. Zhuang Liaoyuan sighed in his heart. With this child's condition, if she wanted to earn money and make a living, there were countless ways, but she chose the most bitter and difficult one. Ning she couldn't remember how long it had been since someone cared about her like this. She was touched and smiled. No, acting is my dream. I do what I like to do, so it's not hard at all. Zhuang Liaoyuan nodded in agreement. Fair enough. This child is really not bad, and his attitude is also very good. Zhuang Liaoyuan's expression became even more approving. Then he said seriously, Girl, you are a smart person. I think you should know that a family like the Lu family isn't very suitable for you. I won't say anything else. Just remember, if you change your mind one day, You can come to me at any time. I have many outstanding single young men here, and all of them are good men. I'm sure you like one of them. Ning, she was a little dumbfounded. Zhuang Liaoyuan's tone was like, I have so many good young men for you to choose from. Quickly abandon Lu Tingxiao. Chapter 860. Could it be that she had misunderstood? Zhuang Liaoyuan's tone seemed to say, I have so many good young men for you to choose from. Quickly abandon Lu Tingxiao. Ning, she was in a dilemma about how to return to Zhuang Liaoyuan when her waist suddenly tightened. She was caught off guard and was pulled into a firm embrace. Then, a cold voice sounded from above her head. General Zhuang. It's not the behavior of a gentleman to ruin a marriage for no reason. Ning Shi, oh no, the devil, had arrived, and she had also heard what Zhuang Liaoyuan had just said. Ning, she swallowed a mouthful of saliva. She suddenly felt that her neck was very cold, and a gust of cold air was drilling into it. She subconsciously struggled, trying to avoid some of the cold. In the end, her waist was immediately gripped even tighter, and she almost couldn't breathe. Thus, she decisively curled up and didn't dare to move anymore. Zhuang Liaoyuan's expression was calm as he looked at the gloomy man in front of him. I seem to have only said, in case she changes her mind. Ning, she didn't have to look to know how terrible the devil's face was. She quickly said, Ahem, thank you for your kindness, Chief Zhuang. My boyfriend and I love each other very much. I won't change my mind. There won't be a day when I have to break up with him until the world is no longer there. The moment she finished speaking, Lu Tingxiao's arm that was holding her obviously relaxed a little. Zhuang Liaoyuan sighed and glanced at her. In the end, he didn't say anything. He only said, if you need any help, you can contact me at any time. Come to the shooting range when you're free. Oh, okay. Thank you, Chief Zhuang. Seeing that Zhuang Liaoyuan had left, Ning, she finally breathed a sigh of relief. She turned around and was about to speak to Lu Tingxiao. However, her tongue was suddenly blocked by a man's breath, and she felt an overwhelming invasion of the man's breath. Ning, she felt that there was less and less air in her chest. The worst thing was that this wasn't a kiss, but a bite. She felt a sharp pain on her lips, and her tongue was kissed until it was numb. Until Ning, she let out a muffled groan because of the pain. His lips then turned into a gentle soothing, gently massaging the place that was abused by him just now. However, as long as she had the slightest intention of struggling, the other party's actions immediately became crazy again. There seemed to be someone walking towards them. Ning, she anxiously pulled away Lu Tingxiao's big hand that was gradually reaching in her maid costume and pushed his chest, blocking his lips from kissing her again. She said in a serious tone, No, what if someone sees it? After all, today was not a private banquet, and there were too many people. Besides, several little maids seemed to have recognized her and asked her if she was the actress Ning Shi. In the darkness, the man stared at the girl in the maid costume in front of him. His eyes seemed to be suffused with the light of a wild beast. He faintly said, So what if I see it? I see you. I'll bite you to death if I see you. Ning, she glared at him. When it came to matters of principle, she definitely wouldn't give an inch. Seeing the girl glaring at him, the man's dangerous and cold eyes suddenly revealed a somewhat aggrieved look, like an injured beast. Finally, he pressed her hard in his arms, buried his head in her neck, and said in a muffled voice, When can I tell everyone that you are my? Chapter 861. Ahem, this. Ning, she also felt a little guilty, so she quickly softened her tone and touched his back. There will definitely be such a day. Don't worry. Ning Shi, I once said that the only thing you need to consider is whether you love me or not. Now, my words are still valid. As long as you agree, you will be my wife. No one and nothing can stop you. Lu Tingxiao was promising her that no matter his family or anything else, it would never affect his decision. I know. Don't listen to Zhuang Liaoyuan. He doesn't know the situation. He may think that you deliberately don't want to disclose our relationship, So he said those words. Well, by the way, what did Zhuang Liaoyuan mean by saying those words to me today? Ning Shi asked in confusion. After the shooting range last time, he may have secretly investigated your identity. Lu Tingxiao answered, and a glimmer of darkness flashed across his eyes. Ning Shi frowned. You mean he found out that I am the adopted daughter of the Ning family? Or he knows that I am his niece? So he came to care about me? But the Zhuang family doesn't even recognize Zhuang Lingyu. How can he care about me? It was completely illogical. Can't you see that Zhuang Liaoyuan likes you very much? Lu Tingxiao said in a displeased tone. It was the feeling of being coveted by someone else as his treasure. He was extremely unhappy. Oh, really? Ning, she was a little surprised. She just felt that Zhuang Liaoyuan was quite gentle to her. Because of your talent in shooting, his son is useless, so he pinned his hope on you. He may even want to recruit you into the army. So, you'd better stay away from him. Lu Tingxiao warned her seriously. Oh. Ning, she nodded. I told you last time that I would never join that army. Besides, there is no freedom in that place. If I don't see you for half a month, I will miss you so much. Until now, Lu Tingxiao's frosty face softened a little. He hugged her, kissed her lips, and fixed his eyes on her. Ning Shi, remember what you said today. I won't give you any chance to change your mind until that day comes. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I disturb you? Lu Jingli covered his eyes with his fingers, looking as if he was not looking at something indecent, if only his fingers weren't so wide open. Lu Tingxiao, yes. It seemed like someone was causing trouble. Brother, you'll know once you take a look. After a while, Lu Jingli, Lu Tingxiao, and Ning Shi stood outside the yard. He saw a large bouquet of black flowers placed at the entrance of the courtyard. Under the light, he could vaguely see the sparkling dewdrops on the flowers, reflecting a cold light and an ominous aura. Looking at the bouquet of flowers, Ning Shi frowned. If I'm not mistaken, this flower is Black Dachira? Lu Jingli nodded. That's right. Aren't you trying to pick a fight by giving her a black and inauspicious flower on her birthday? Ning Shi's eyes flickered, and she subconsciously glanced at Lu Tingxiao, feeling inexplicably uneasy. She recalled the flower language of the Black Dachira. Revenge, was she thinking too much? Chapter 862. At this moment, Lu Tingxiao's face was expressionless. No one knew what he was thinking. Should we check the surveillance footage? Ning Shi asked tentatively. Lu Tingxiao tapped on his phone a few times and pulled up the surveillance footage. After watching it several times, they realized that the bouquet of flowers had appeared out of thin air. Ning Shi frowned. A part of the surveillance footage was deliberately erased. Otherwise, how could these words appear out of thin air? It was obvious that someone had tampered with the footage. Lu Jingli snorted disdainfully. Insignificant tricks. How dare you play this trick in front of my brother? Lu Tingxiao clicked on his phone a few more times. He seemed to be running some kind of software. After a few minutes, he clicked on the surveillance footage again. This time, a figure finally appeared in the video. In the video, a man was approaching from afar. The man was wearing a black shirt and black pants, almost blending in with the night. He was holding a large bouquet of black flowers as he slowly walked toward the door. He bent down and put down the Black Dachira. He stood up and looked at the bustling crowd in the yard. The lighting was dim and the man was wearing a black mask, so they couldn't see his face clearly. They could only see a blurry shadow. He stood there for a long time in silence. A moment later, the man suddenly raised his head and looked straight at the surveillance camera. From their point of view, it was as if the man was looking straight at them from the video, exuding an evil and arrogant provocation. After a glance, the man turned and left. A few black petals fell from his body, and his figure disappeared into the dark night. Brother, I've checked. It's just a bouquet of flowers. There's nothing dangerous. I guess it's just a prank, Lu Jingli said. Lu Tingxiao picked up the bouquet, glanced at it, and put it in Lu Jingli's hand. Throw it away. Oh, Lu Jingli nodded. Lest old master sees it. Ning Shi subconsciously glanced at the darkness behind her and followed Lu Tingxiao. What kind of person is this? Why would he send such flowers on such a day? Don't mind him. He's just a bored person. Lu Tingxiao patted her head, as if he didn't care about it at all. At this time, a panting voice came from behind, and a little maid anxiously said, "Young master, so you're here. Master and old madam invite you over." "Okay," Lu Tingxiao said and said to Ning Shi, "Wait for me. Don't run around." "Yes, yes, I know. Go now." After Lu Tingxiao left, Ning Shi stared blankly at the gate for a while. This kind of small matter of sending flowers to disgust people was naturally not worth mentioning to Lu Tingxiao. However, the man in the monitor just now, why did he give her an inexplicable feeling of familiarity in the study? "Come, have a seat." Lu Chongshan didn't waste any more time and asked impatiently, "Tingxiao, Lil Bao's wrist strength seems to have improved tremendously. His gait and posture have also changed, and his spirit is much better than before. Did he do any training during this period of time?" "Yes, I hired a teacher for him," Lu Tingxiao answered. "Xiao Bao is willing to learn. So far, I'm doing pretty well." "I see. Good, good, good." Lu Chongshan nodded his head with a gratified look. Chapter 863. "By the way, Tingxiao, are you living with Xiaoxi now?" Yin Rui asked casually. Lu Tingxiao said no. Yin Rui looked a bit helpless, but then she looked as if she had expected it. She knew her son wouldn't be so fast. Alas, with her son's character, even if he dated her, it would be a long time before he could get her. Yin Rui stopped thinking and immediately suggested, "Are you afraid of being photographed by reporters? Why don't you buy her a detached villa? At that time, you and Xiao Bao can also live there." Lu Tingxiao took a look at his mother. Yin Rui also knew that she seemed to have changed her attitude a little too quickly. She coughed lightly and said, "What I mean is, both of you are usually so busy, especially that girl. In this line of work, she gets up early and goes to work late. Who would care about Xiao Bao? It's more convenient for you two to live together. When the time comes, I'll send a few trustworthy servants to deliver it to you. Isn't that great?" Lu Chongshan seemed to agree with her and said, "Put the villa under her name. She's been taking care of Xiao Bao for so many days, so it's only right for her." The two of them had acknowledged Ning Shi's influence on Xiao Bao and hoped that she could spend more time taking care of and teaching Xiao Bao. However, they still couldn't be completely at ease, so they proposed to assign a few servants to him. In fact, it was a kind of surveillance. "No, we're fine now." Lu Tingxiao knew what they meant and refused. Lu Chongshan frowned. "How's it fine now? Xiao Bao can't see you when you're busy, and even when you see him, you have to do it secretly. That's why I said there's something wrong with her career. She could do something else after she retires." "Yes, wouldn't it be better if she could resign and focus on taking care of Xiao Bao? We won't mistreat her." Lu Tingxiao was silent for a while as he watched his parents echo each other. Then he said unhurriedly, "So, Mom and Dad, do you want her to be a full-time housewife after resigning?" Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui were dumbfounded upon hearing those words. Full-time housewife. Full-time housewife. They clearly meant that the woman should be Xiao Bao's nanny and tutor. This brat clearly knew about it, yet he purposely said such words to stop them. Lu Tingxiao, "If that's what Mom and Dad want, I can consider it." Yin Rui said helplessly, "Tingxiao, there are so many beautiful and outstanding girls out there. Why do you have to choose her?" In the past, he thought that his son didn't like women. Now that he was sure that he could like girls, why couldn't he like other girls who were more outstanding and more worthy of him? Xiao is hundreds of times better than her in terms of family background and knowledge. Lu Chongshan's face was also filled with displeasure. Lu Tingxiao stood up, straightened his sleeves, and turned to leave. Before he left, he paused and said, "I can only be hard on her." Lu Chongshan, Yin Lu Tingxiao turned around expressionlessly and added, "If you still want a granddaughter, please treat your granddaughter's future mother well." After he finished speaking, he walked away, leaving Lu Chongshan and Yin Rui dumbfounded on the spot. Chapter 864. After a long while, the two elders finally snapped out of their daze. This rascal. How can he talk to his parents like this? Yin Rui didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She looked at Lu Chongshan anxiously and asked, Chongshan, do you think Ting Xiao is telling the truth? How would I know? Lu Chongshan said angrily. The more I think about it, the more I think it's possible. Otherwise, why would your son be so devoted to that woman? Lu Chongshan's face darkened, and he didn't say a word. Indeed, if Lu Jingli had said something that sounded like a bluff, he would have slapped him across the face. However, it was his eldest son who said it. Given his condition all these years, it did seem plausible. 5 years ago, they had been too worried and used some extreme measures, which worsened his condition and made him more averse to women. Perhaps there really were unforeseen repercussions. Yin Rui seemed to have thought of something and suddenly became a little excited. She paced back and forth in the room excitedly and said, Ah, a granddaughter! If only I could have another granddaughter. That girl is so beautiful. The girl she gives birth to will definitely be very beautiful. Xiaobao won't be lonely anymore and will have a companion. Lu Chongshan's face darkened as he listened to Yin Rui's rambling. What are you talking about? In fact, although he said that, his expression was one of extreme yearning. He had never had a daughter in his life. His sons were more worrisome than the one before. Needless to say, he yearned for a considerate girl. If he could really have an adorable granddaughter. No, stop it. He couldn't fall into that rascal's trap. However, Lu Tingxiao's move was too ruthless. He had completely pinched the two elders' weak spot. Once he mentioned his granddaughter, he couldn't stop looking forward to it. Oh my adorable granddaughter at the Platinum Palace. She carefully placed Xiaobao, who had fallen asleep on the road, on the bed and tucked him in. She lay on the edge of the bed and stared at Xiaobao's soft, fair face. She couldn't get enough of it. Lu Tingxiao, our baby is so handsome tonight, isn't he? Lu Tingxiao said, Yes, whatever I want. Looking at Lu Tingxiao's serious expression, she almost laughed out loud. Yes, up to you. Thanks to you, I almost couldn't control myself when Guan Zhichen said that he couldn't say anything decent. Fortunately, you winked at me. But what if Xiaobao didn't say anything in that case? She asked. Lu Tingxiao, go for another DNA test. She was speechless. Lu Tingxiao's son couldn't possibly be so useless, right? He was quite confident in his own genes. There's no need for that now. Xiaobao is indeed your son. Like father, like son. He, Ningxi. Lu Tingxiao suddenly stared at her. Yeah, what's wrong? Lu Tingxiao seemed a little hesitant, but in the end, he still said, Do you mind? Mind what? Ningxi was puzzled. Xiaobao isn't your biological son, Lu Tingxiao asked, looking a little nervous. Ningxi blinked her eyes and blurted out without thinking. How could I possibly mind? Even if Xiaobao isn't your biological son, I wouldn't mind at all. Chapter 865. She liked Xiaobao because he was Xiaobao. It had nothing to do with who gave birth to him. She didn't know why, but she liked him. She liked him from the first time she saw him. She felt happy and satisfied just by looking at him. Hearing Ningxi's answer, Lu Tingxiao was speechless. Fine, he didn't ask. Oh yes, Lu Tingxiao, what did your parents talk to you about last night? Ningxi was sure it had something to do with her. Therefore, he was more or less concerned about it. Lu Tingxiao glanced at her and answered, We talked about our daughter. Huh? We don't have a daughter. Damn it. Did you lie to them that I'm pregnant? How am I going to get a child for them? Ningxi looked nervous. Lu Tingxiao said no. Before Ningxi could breathe a sigh of relief, Lu Tingxiao continued. I said I can only be hard on you. If they want to give Xiaobao a sister, they can only rely on you. So, they have to treat you well. Ningxi was dumbfounded. What? Damn it. You're even more exaggerated this time. He might as well say she was pregnant. Lu Tingxiao looked at her darkly. I didn't lie. Ningxi narrowed her eyes. Oh no? Have you tried it with other women? Lu Tingxiao said, no need. Then how do you know? You can only do it with me. Besides, if you can't be hard on other women, where did Xiaobao come from? Ningxi thought of this crucial question. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Tingxiao's face darkened, as if he had been reminded of something taboo. Ningxi knew he didn't like this question, so she had never mentioned it. She didn't pay attention today and blurted it out. Well, I was just asking. You don't have to answer me, Ningxi said hurriedly. Everyone had things they didn't want to talk about, so she never cared about Lu Tingxiao's past. Lu Tingxiao pinched his forehead and stayed silent for a while. After a moment, he looked at her and sighed softly, saying, I've never touched a woman. My parents were very worried about this, and they even suspected that I liked men. When I proved to them that I didn't even like men, they seemed to be even more worried. 5 years ago, they teamed up with Jing Li to drug me and gave me a woman. I don't have any memories of that time, but I only had that one time. So, Xiao Bao should have been there that time. After hearing this, Ningxi's eyes almost popped out. She didn't expect that Lu Tingxiao's first time would be so tragic and miserable. This is too much of a scam. No wonder Lu Tingxiao didn't want to talk about this. For a man, this kind of thing was really hard to talk about. Moreover, from Lu Tingxiao's tone, it seemed like he had been given a large dose of drugs. He didn't even have the ability to move, so the situation at that time couldn't have been he was the one being raped, right? Cough, cough, cough. I can't continue thinking about the suppressed great demon king. After that, not even medicine has any effect on me, Lu Tingxiao said coldly. Ningxi, cough. It seemed like he was traumatized. How tragic. In fact, before I met you, I always thought I was asexual, Lu Tingxiao said. Ningxi raised an eyebrow. Asexual? Lu Tingxiao nodded and pulled her into his arms. So, without a doubt, you are my one and only. Chapter 866. Before the shooting of Ning Shi's new movie, Lin Jiji helped her to shoot a magazine cover, attend several brand ribbon-cutting events, and attend fashion banquets. She spent the rest of her time in the studio. She had invested all her money in the studio. Now that her career was on the right track, she could finally get out of poverty. In addition, the studio had also stopped losing money and started to make a profit. Looking at the balance on the card rising little by little, Ningxi felt incomparably satisfied, and at the same time, she was even more motivated. After finishing a job in the morning, she immediately rushed to the studio in the afternoon. She was busy with her work when a troublemaker came. Damn it, Jiang Mai, I'm really busy today. Can't you see that I'm preparing a project? I have to go to a very important client tomorrow morning. She was speechless that Jiang Mai actually came looking for her in the studio. Hey, where's your professional attitude? Where's your sense of responsibility? You didn't even go to the premiere of your own movie. You only know how to do your part-time job. Jiang Mai said indignantly. Ning, she was speechless. Bullshit. I only made a cameo appearance in that movie for a few minutes. Jiang Mai was referring to the movie in which she had made a cameo appearance in his first love, which had just been released. She had never seen him so enthusiastic before. He only went to the world because she had reminded him. This time he was crazy. Not only did he want to go in person, but he also dragged her along. That was enough. In the end, Ningxi was dragged to the premiere of the movie. We Are 18-inch was one of the more popular youth-themed films in the market recently. The youthful school background, the combination of a famous director and a little fresh meat, as well as sufficient investment and overwhelming publicity, meant that the box office would not be too bad, even if the film's shooting period was less than a month. Sure enough, with the help of Jiang Mai's extraordinary popularity, the cinema was almost full. Jiang Mai was full of pride from beginning to end. Do you feel my popularity? Ningxi lowered the brim of her hat, leaned back in the chair, and glanced at him. Golden Retriever, as a friend, I still want to remind you that you can change your career. Are you going to be an idol for the rest of your life? Jiang Mai squinted at her. What else? Look at this brother's natural-born idol face. If I insist on saying that I have strength, would anyone believe me? Even if I fought with my life on the line and really relied on my strength, people would still say that I relied on my face. I can't be bothered to torment myself. Ning, she wanted to comfort him, but the next second he said, "This is the trouble of being too handsome." Ning, she didn't say anything. Soon, the movie began. Back then, Shin Mion's first film, Stars, Moon, and Sun, was the pioneer in youth films. Later, Love in the Future continued to shine. Therefore, Ningxi originally had high hopes for this film. However, she almost fell asleep when she read the latter part. Although she had noticed that Shun Mion's films had been too commercialized in the past few years, every one of them had its own merits. However, this novel was completely created for the sake of creation. Under the guise of youth, for the sake of conflict in the plot, cliché plots such as abortion, love triangle, and cheating were abruptly and deliberately mixed in. There is almost nothing new to speak of, not to mention the positive energy that should be conveyed to the young audience. Chapter 867. How is this a teen drama? It was more like an 8 o'clock p.m. soap opera. She was so embarrassed the audience wasn't stupid. Halfway through the movie, some of them couldn't help but leave the theater. Most of the people who were left were complaining. What the hell? What the hell is going on in this movie? Moaning and groaning. Does a teen drama have to have an abortion, cheating on a girlfriend, and betraying the male lead? Can't they be more creative? I can't believe Shin Mian made this movie. And Jiang Mai, is he possessed by Ma Jingtao? How can he be so careless? I thought he had improved a lot after watching his latest movie, The World, and I was looking forward to it. I don't understand what this movie is trying to say. The male lead is a scumbag for the sake of being a scumbag. Just because he can't forget his first love, he made the female lead abort the abortion and did nothing about it. Is he even human? I'm so disappointed. Why did we accept this movie? I can't watch it anymore, even if it's because of his good looks. Jiang Mai became more and more silent as he listened to the insults around him. He didn't even need to look to know that his face was dark. Ning, she didn't say anything. She just patted his shoulder to comfort him. As the movie was coming to an end, the audience's anger reached its peak. Trash! Give me back my money. I thought Su Yimo's cold and expressionless Star Ocean was bad enough. I didn't expect this movie to be so despicable. I think there's something wrong with the script. It's bullshit. The whole movie is just torture for the sake of torture. The male lead is still a scumbag. Is this a tragic ending? I won't give a single star. In the movie, the female lead was so disheartened that she finally left. The male lead was drunk and stumbled to a tombstone. Basically, the audience knew that it should be raining at this time. Sure enough, in the movie, it rained from the gray sky. The male lead knelt in front of the tombstone. Then, the scene changed and a memory was inserted. Seeing this, Ning, she sat up a little straighter. Damn it, after waiting for so long, it was finally time for her pitiful few minutes of scenes. In the ward, the male lead's first love was on her deathbed. The girl was wearing a white dress and leaning in the boy's arms. Her long black hair contrasted with her pale and frail little face. But there was a bright smile on her face that was as bright and beautiful as the first sun in winter. Her eyes were unbelievably clean, just like an angel who had fallen to the mortal world. This kind of extreme weakness and extreme purity and beauty formed an extremely sharp and even cruel contrast. On the big screen, the moment the image switched to the girl, almost everyone couldn't help but gasp because of the surprise and amazement. Previously, the male protagonist's first love had always existed in their conversations. It had never appeared in front of them, so the audience actually did not have a sense of immersion. It wasn't until this scene that the audience suddenly began to understand why the male lead couldn't get over it after so many years. No matter which man it was, after experiencing such a woman, it was likely that he would not be able to fall in love with any other woman. Later on, the moment the girl closed her eyes, there was a lingering smile on her face, as well as her love for the boy. It was so beautiful that it didn't seem to be in this world. You're tuning into the Eternal Immortal Ballad YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.